Let me go through the announcements first. Number one, I have them here just to make sure I don't forget anything. The next sessions, I want to go over when the next sessions are going to be so that you guys are prepared. And one of them has changed, okay? So I want to make sure that you are aware of it. The next sessions are November 15th. That is a Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. The next that's number 5 session. The 5th session is November 30th. That's a Friday, and it is also at 7 p.m. So sorry, I'm taking your date night or your fun night for going out. So I would love to see you there. These are all Mountain Standard Time. Okay, that means Utah time for and Colorado time for those of you who want to look it up that way. Now the last one, number 7. Wait, 5, 6, yeah, 7. That's the one that has changed. Number 7 has changed. It was December 7th, which was a Friday. We have changed it, and half of you are going to love me, and half of you are going to hate me for this. But it is now December 8th, which is a Saturday, but it's at 2 p.m. So those of you who are in way crazier time zones, way off of the Mountain Standard Time, finally, you don't have to stay up all night. So hopefully that will work for you. I get that it's getting close to Christmas at that point, and that a lot of you might have things going on. I hope you can make time to join us, because that might be one of the most powerful. Well, I don't know. It depends on what you need to learn, which one is the most powerful for you. Okay, that's first announcement. So we'll keep reminding you. We'll keep posting. Second of all, if you want to be notified of the things that we're doing even outside of placements, then what I want you to do is you can go to my website, teresaharding.com. Notice that Teresa does not have an H. A lot of times people say, I can't find it. It's because they're doing TH. It's TERESA, teresaharding.com. You can go sign up for my newsletter. If you do that, then you'll be notified always of what events are going on. Now that's every month. I know what it's like. If you don't want too many emails coming in, I get it, and that's fine. But just want you to know that that's available. The next thing, this is sort of a fun thing I want to do with you guys. I want to see what we can do. And I thought if we did it together, it'd be really fun. What I want to do is see what we can do to change someone's life together. Okay. Now it's getting close to Christmas. Hopefully that's not the only time we care about helping people. Duh, we're doing doTERRA, so we always care about changing people's lives. But it's always fun to find something that you can do at Christmas, and everybody has their traditions. But I found out about a family, and I thought if everybody gives $1, if you want to give more, great. If we have over 3,000 people in this group, you guys, if everybody gives $1 and puts it out to their entire team, if they put it out to, not their entire team, well, your team, but also everybody on your social media, I wonder what we could make happen. And I thought this would be fun to do a test with this group. Let's see how that works, because wouldn't it be cool if we could get $20,000 to help somebody or a cause or something? And if this works out, then what we can do, I mean, honestly, you guys, if we do this right, we could get $100,000. $1 per person. We don't want anybody to be hurting or whatever. And I get it that there's always somebody worse off, So I thought, number one, let's try this together. I have this family that I want to do this with. They don't know I'm doing this. And so if this works, we could do like once or twice a year that we do something like this. And you guys could all submit different things that you have found that you would like to help. And then we could pick one. We could pick one that we say, okay, you guys, this quarter or this 6 months, we don't want to be hounding people to give money all the time, but if everybody just gives $1, that would be so cool. And what we'll do is we'll see if we can work it out. You know how when you give $1 on PayPal or you pay on PayPal, they take a portion of it? If it's charitable, if you work it out right, sometimes they don't. So we're going to try to make it that way so that every dollar goes to it. Then I can come back and notify you guys, give you a Facebook Live to tell you what happened, maybe even write the check to the family or to the group or whatever it is that we're doing and surprise them. And that would be fun for you guys to see. So anyways, so let's do this together. Let's see if we can make it work. And let me tell you a little bit about the family. So the mom's name is Carrie Davenport. And I know this information is kind of out on the internet, so I'm not sharing any secrets that would embarrass her. Okay. So Carrie Davenport, she has 6 kids. She and her husband, happily married. Her husband was spending he spent tons of time serving, helping people, totally always giving. And he ended up having, he had heart problems and he just passed away. He passed away about 6 months ago. And so now the family is struggling. The mom is struggling. She's working full-time, $12 an hour, trying to, make things work for her kids. Now she's got, all these children. So, and again, please know, I know that there's always somebody worse off. There's always something more we can do. But guess what? We can start somewhere. And if we can do $1, it'd be fun. Honestly, let's see. I think we can get to 100,000. You guys, 3,000 people on here. If each of you guys have 100 people that are on your social media, hello, we all have more than that. And people did give one. So what we'll do is, Olivia, are you going to hate me for this? We're going to have, and we'll work with our design people. We'll have them create something that maybe is on the group site so that you can constantly see, maybe like some sort of a thermometer or something that fills up as the donations come in. Because it always, I don't ever want people to feel guilty. I don't like it when it feels like, oh, guilty, so you should donate, all this money. So I thought, you know what, $1 is doable. Again, if you want to do 5, you want to do more, whatever. But let's tell everybody $1. So there is a GoFundMe that somebody started, and we will put all the information, all the links. They're going to put it on the chat right now, and they're also going to put it on the website. So I thought, how fun. If here we've got this huge group, let's see what we can do. And you know what we can also do? After we do this, we can either like present to the owners of doTERRA or do something where we kind of can like do a video. I'll do a professional video that shows what happened, what we did, and the whole group of all these doTERRA people, and show what we're all about, and that, it's not corporate doing this. This is us, and look at what we created. Look at what the doTERRA people are all about. So anyway, just a thought, that would be cool. And then last thing I want to tell you before I get started with the training part is, I just want to remind you, and I just finished the last videos before I left for Singapore, the last videos of the training for Fast Track. Now, those of you who know, I have Fast Track training on my YouTube. I am changing all the titles. I mean, the titles for what the topic is will stay the same, but I'm taking Fast Track off of all of those because the new Fast Track that I have created is seriously so powerful. I'll tell you why I created it, because I'm going double presidential, and I realized I need to make sure that I have exactly what I need so that I am maximizing my time. And I am telling you, I am so freaking excited about this. I can hardly stand it because it is going to be so powerful for my team. So, of course, the videos will be on YouTube. I always like to give you my stuff for free, but I am going to put it, for me, that's not good enough because it's like you guys have been telling me, sometimes it's hard to find the next video, to follow in order. We're putting them in folders for you. We're doing our best, but there are also other things that could be super helpful. So what I've done is I put it on a website, and I am going to be, if you get it from the website, you have everything there. It is user-friendly. You get not only the audio, but you get a transcript of every single video. That means you have word for word that you can download the document, print it off, use it however you want. That means you would be able to change the wording if that's what you want to do. It will, from step 1 until someone becomes elite. It's a whole series. You guys, it is hours and hours and hours of videos, and it puts them all in order. Every handout is right there. Every week chart that you need to complete whatever it is you're doing. So again, I'm not okay. I am trying to sell this, I guess. I just want you to know it's available. It is for free. You guys can have it for free, but I will tell you, I won't be using YouTube for my leaders. I will be using this because it is in order. Then I can say to my leaders, and it needs to feel simple. It needs to feel simple. If I have to tell my leader, go find this video on YouTube, which is great, but it is powerful. In order, bam, bam, bam. Do this, do this, do this, do this. Feels simple. They go watch the video, do the assignment, which they all have, and then they come back to my next strategy session, and I only have to meet with my leaders once a week. Once a week, we do a strategy session. They go do all their stuff. And of course, I train them when we're doing the classes or whatever. I am training my leaders so fast, and it is not taking very much time. So I thought, I'm making it anyway. But the more people who use it, the more maintenance there is, which means that you have to pay for that. So just so you have an idea, every single piece of this, if I were to put it into 4 different sections and sell it that way, I've been looking online because I already know I'm giving it to you guys for as low as I can. But if you were to go buy that for that kind of training and what it does, like the quality of the training and how it teaches you to build your team from step 1, you would be paying probably about $350 for each of the 4 segments. Now I've split mine up into 6 segments just because of the way we build doTERRA. And so it would be about like $1,400, $1,400. Mine is going to be, the people who are putting it together won't let me say the amount yet, but I'm telling you, it's going to be under 300. I don't care. Even if I lose money, it's going to be under 300. But I'm trying to make it less than that. My plan is that we can always slash it. And I'm going to give you guys, by the end of these trainings, I'm going to have it ready so that you guys can get like an early bird price. And then I'll probably offer only you guys that price. Then for Black Friday, I'll offer the lower price, and then it will go up to the normal cheap price that I will normally have. Okay. So what you'll get when you buy that, though, you have it. It's yours forever. It's not like, oh, you get access for a little while. Okay. So I just wanted you to know about that. I'm so excited about it. Like, I can't stop talking about it with Roger because it is already changing my business. It's revolutionizing the way I do it. And you guys, we already have a massive team. We already built so fast. I was the second one who hit, Roger says, don't brag, but I'm going to brag about this. I was the second one to ever hit founder in doTERRA ever. The first one was Justin. And so we were doing great. We were building fast, but this is faster. So anyway, if that will help you, great. If you don't want to buy it, get it on the YouTube and make sure you get it figured out in order so that you can use it to help your leaders. It's going to be huge. Okay, so when is it available? All the videos are in now to my team. Roger is doing all the editing. I did all the recording. Roger did all the editing. And then right now he's finishing up the last few edits. And in the next few weeks, it will be available. So it depends on the guy. The website's already built. The videos are getting put on there. Depends on how fast they can, tweak. They have to tweak the videos a little bit and then they put it up. So I am telling you, and we're going to start tracking stats because I know that as I use this system, which is saving me so much time, we're going to have people who grow faster. And how many of you have had people on your team who they come to you, and this is part of the problem, right, with our placements. People come to us and they say, I don't have any support. No one's helping me. So in order for your team to grow, you're already helping your leaders. But what happens? Now you got to reach down and you got to start helping all these people, which is the doTERRA culture. But how do we protect ourselves and our time? And I will address that today also, by the way. But this fixes all of those. I'm so excited. So, pardon me. Okay, this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to tell you what we're going to cover. I'm going to go over a few of the answers to some of the questions that you guys had. Then we're going to talk about width versus depth. That won't take very long. Then we're going to talk about, I'll just review really quickly the goal of placements and committed and capables. But the reason I want to review that is because we need to talk about how you are going to test these people. Because most of you are not testing people. And those of you who, I would say that 90% of the people who come to me who need help and we're trying to fix their organization, they totally say, yes, I do test my people. I do this and this. And I'm thinking, okay, you are not testing your people. That is not testing. That's checking to see if, that's checking nicely to see if they really are interested in helping people with doTERRA, okay? So we're going to talk about how do you test people, and you guys know me. It's all in a way that's no pressure, that is not making them feel bad, that is not acting like it's all about the money, okay? So we have figured out how to do this. I'm going to show you how to do that. Which YouTube is it under? As people are asking about the training, when I put it on YouTube, I'll make a video for YouTube that says I'm changing my fast track. So the old ones that you used to see for fast track are not going to say fast track. When you look for fast track, this is going to be the revised, way more powerful outline. So you'll be able to see that. And then I will make sure that I'm doing Facebook Lives, letting everybody know that it's on Facebook, on YouTube. So when you look up fast track right now, it's the older versions. Those videos, for example, I teach you how to talk to someone if they're interested in the business, how to talk to someone if they're interested in the oil. Those are still totally relevant. It's not that those won't be relevant, but so again, those will be for you for free on YouTube. And then I will make announcements and make sure people know where to go if they're interested in checking out that online version. Because you could try it for yourself. You could try it for yourself. And if you feel like, wow, this will save my life with my team, then great. You can spread it down your team. If not, you've got 2 options, okay? Now, any other questions about that, I will look in there and I will answer on the Facebook group, okay? So we're going to talk about goal placements. We're going to talk about committed capable. Then we're going to talk about how to test these people. Then I'm going to go through every single mistake that I see people make, the biggest mistakes, I guess I should say. We're not going over every mistake because that would take 10 more sessions, okay? But we're going to go over the mistakes that people make. And I want to warn you guys, this will be the most depressing of all the trainings that you see, unless you're brand new. Now, if you're brand new and I talk about these mistakes and you start thinking that it does not seem like such a big deal. Oh no, you know, for me, my situation is different. You're saying don't do that, Teresa, but my situation is different. Then I'm telling you right now, there will be a day you come back and go, dang, I wish I had listened, because we've been there, we've seen it, okay? So that's what we're gonna cover today. Then I'm gonna go into how to place, we'll go into your questions about placing for existing problems. Last week, we talked about how to place people. If you're a brand new team, you don't have any builders, you don't know where to put people. I know we didn't go into it in enough depth, and we're gonna cover more of that every single time, okay? You guys, I'll just tell you right now, I'm probably gonna go a full 2 hours today, because last time people have more and more questions. Obviously, you can get off whenever you want, but those questions are powerful, and so I think it's important. Second thing, so now let's start with what we're gonna do. I wanna go over a few of the questions that people had. And I'm telling you what, you guys, my office team is awesome. I have pages and pages of questions from you guys, and I make sure that I put them into groupings so that I don't have to answer different questions that cover the same topic. I can kind of answer all those questions together when I'm talking about that topic. So I'm gonna cover 2 this morning because it covers several of the questions, but I do wanna point out that there are a lot of questions that you guys have. I don't want you to think that they're getting lost in the shuffle. They're not. I have them. They matter to me. And what's happening is there are a lot of questions you guys have that will make more sense after I talk about the big mistakes. And some of them will make, and so I can talk about that, which I'll do at the beginning of next week. And some of them are questions that will make more sense, or I can talk more in depth about it after we talk about the fixes, because there are about 6 different ways you can make fixes on your team to fix existing problems. So I'm going to read off a few first names of people with questions so that you start to get the idea that you guys, your questions are not getting lost in the shuffle, okay? Just kind of want to check on the comments every once in a while. So, for example, I have a question from Heather. Your question is going to be easy to answer after we talk about the big mistakes. So we'll do that at the beginning of next week. Let's see. Courtney's, yours is going to be today. Lana's, yours is going to be today. Shirley, Teniel, I hope I'm saying your name right. This is after we talk about the fixes. Sarah, your question is after the fixes. Robin, yours is today. And of course, I have a lot more questions. I'm not reading everybody's names, but I just want you to know. Those I might cover. Amal is after the fixes. One person's, I don't have a name. Oh, maybe it's Carly. But if yours is the one about I'm going to talk about committed capables. You're asking if this is short-term thinking. So I think I can answer that right now. Let me make sure. Sherry, these are people I'm going to do it after the fix. Sherry, Rita, Robin, and Sophie. Some of you have questions that are advanced. Okay, I will have one more announcement. And you guys, I don't know if I'm crazy to do this, but I know what it's like to be where you are and wish I had known. So I'm going to do this, and I might be sorry later, but this is so fun, and I love helping you guys. So this was supposed to go for 6 weeks, or sorry, 7 weeks. And after the 7 weeks, I told you I'd go 1 more week if we needed another week. I think that might likely happen just because people will want to just do questions, even if we just do questions the entire time. But and I have had people request, I've seen a couple of requests about, could you do an advanced training? And what's funny is I'd already been thinking that. I thought, oh my goodness, so some of these questions are more advanced for maybe diamonds and above. something like that, where if we try to talk about those in this grouping, it not only might stress out the newbies, but it will be frustrating because it starts to feel way too complicated. This already can start to feel complicated. So I am debating about not till after Christmas, or maybe, maybe in a couple months, but we keep the, we were going to disband this group. What if we, number one, keep this group, but maybe there's a training on it, once a month. I do a once a month training that's a Facebook Live. It's not a set time. I just kind of do it. And I'm talking about the most powerful things that I'm seeing people have issues with, or you guys can post on the Facebook group. Plus you can help answer each other's questions. And then if I see one that's glaring that I'm like, no, do not do that, then I can do a Facebook Live about it. If you guys would like to maintain the group, let me know, number one. Number two, but we want to at least have something once a month. If we're going to maintain the group, it's got to be viable. Number two, would you want an advanced training? And I know some of you will, but if I don't get a huge response that yes, we want this, then I probably won't do it like this. But if you guys really want it, then you let me know. Respond on the Facebook group, on the chats here, whatever. And so I would be happy to do that. It excites me to do it. Chelsea, my executive assistant / business manager, is probably going, Teresa, what are you doing? You do not have time for that. But you guys, this is one of the most fun things I do, because if it's helping you, then I'm excited, okay? So that's one thing. So there were a few questions that were advanced that I will not cover here, but most of them we can cover mostly here. Let's see. I want to list a few other names. Amal, talking about placeholders, we can do that at the beginning here. There are a couple more at the beginning. Priya and Robin, you had another question that we can do at the beginning. Anyway, so just to give you an idea, I am marking when I'm going to cover those questions. And a lot of the questions we're getting now are often included, like, they're kind of similar questions that I can cover together. So let's get started. Number one, we are going to talk, I'm going to go over the questions. The first thing I'm going to talk about with questions was enrollerships. We had a lot of questions about enrollerships and should I really give the enrollership away? And I can feel from the questions that you guys really, really want to have integrity. You want to do this right. So I'm going to describe it a little bit of a different way. And somebody had a question about this in our Facebook group, and this was her question. She said, okay, if I have, and I might be butchering the question, but this is the gist of it. She said, if I have somebody on my front line or like maybe somebody on my third level, they do a class and sign a bunch of people up. Now we've got somebody from the class who's down on my 6th level, and the person who did the class does not want to build. And so, I could do enrollership of this person, but now they're on my 6th level. That's a problem. Yes, that is definitely one option. And so I responded to that, but I think a lot of people probably didn't see the response. And I want to tell you something. You will hear two differing viewpoints, generally. I mean, there are lots of different viewpoints, but they generally fall into one of two camps. Number one, with enrollerships, you do not keep the enrollership. They do not belong to you. The other one that you will hear is, you're the one doing all the work and you should get the enrollership, okay? What people don't understand, and I'm realizing as I answered that question in the Facebook group, Roger said to me after, he said, that is the most clear you have ever explained it. So I thought, okay, I have not been clear about the way it's explained, so I'm going to do that now. So first I'll tell you what I explained in there. Well, first I'll tell you a couple of points, and then I'll tell you how I explained it in there. Number one, a lot of times when people are saying, I'm doing all the work, so I should get the enrollership. That is, think about this. Is that true or is it not true? You could make an argument for either side. Let's say I'm going to Michigan. I am traveling all the way to Michigan. I have little kids at home. I go to a class for this leader, and they might be interested in the business. By the time the class is over, I've got 5 or 10 people. Let's say, we have the class, and I kill it. I totally kill it. Everybody wants to enroll, and we've got 8 people enrolled from that class. And now Susan, the girl who is the hostess and who invited all her friends, she doesn't want to build, but she wants to be a wellness advocate. Okay. Now, if she doesn't want to be a wellness advocate, a wholesale customer, then we've talked about that. You can't put these people under her. you then get to put them wherever you want. You have a conversation with Susan, help her try to understand, give her an opportunity to look at building. And yes, you give this opportunity, even though Susan may not be a CC. She invited those people, they're hers, okay? But should I, if I'm gonna now be doing all the work, Susan's not gonna do a stinking thing. She is not gonna do a thing. I paid money to go out to Michigan. I spent a lot of time. I took time from my family. My kids are home by themselves because I am going out to help. Should I get the enrollership? Should I get a benefit? Well, yes, absolutely I should. But guess what? Let's do it in the right way. So what the problem is, I think, is those people in the camp of saying the enrollership belongs to the person who invited them, which, by the way, doTERRA also says. But do you know that even in the rules and information from doTERRA, it says the enrollership goes to the person who invited. It also says the enrollership goes to the person who's doing all the work. So both camps are kind of saying the same thing. But let me tell you how you can blend this together and bridge that gap. And in the same way, you guys, this is doTERRA. Think about the culture. You can actually have both. If you quit thinking that you can only pick one or the other, you are only going to come up with ideas for one or the other. If you think, okay, we should be able to do anything, then your brain will start coming up with ideas outside of what you already thought of. So I'll share a few with you. Now, imagine if the people who said, no, the enrollership goes to the person who invited. These are the people who are saying, oh, it's all about integrity and all this stuff, which I'm in that camp. But guess what? Is there a way to create a win-win situation so that you can have enrollership and they get something out of it too? Absolutely. Absolutely. And in our last training, I talked about how, what if there are 10 enrollerships that belong to that person? You only need one. You only need one enrollership because you need a qualifying leg, right? So what happens, and I said you just need one, but the reality is we're not clear enough because maybe you would like to have more just in case. Is it okay to have more enrollerships? Yes, but the problem is people use the word take. Is it okay to take more enrollerships? No, it's not okay to take those. They don't belong to you. They're not yours. But is it okay to come up with a business proposition? If I see somebody, I drive by someone's house and they have a hot tub that I love and I want it and I can't find it, they don't make it anymore. Do I go take the hot tub? No, but I can go to them. I can come up with options that might help. Maybe I offer, if I'm a massage therapist, well, hello, I don't need to be a massage therapist. Let's say I know how to do the aroma touch technique. That's an essential oil application technique, so it's not a massage. I could go offer, maybe this person has bad back. I offer to do a year's worth of free aroma touches and we do a trade or 2 years or whatever. Maybe they want free essential oils. Maybe they want cash. It doesn't matter. If something belongs to someone else, you can always make a business arrangement to get what you want. So a lot of times in the camp where we're saying have integrity, we forget to talk about, dude, of course you can do a business arrangement. That seems like an obvious, but guess what? For new people, it's not an obvious. Now, what about the people in the camp where they're saying, I'm doing all the work and I should get the enrollership? Well, that's true. You now have a choice. I can either do all the work, because honestly, if you're not thinking outside the box, this is what a lot of people in that camp tend to think. They think, well, I can either take the enrollership or I can not take the enrollership and then I'm doing all the work and I have to do all this stuff. Or there's a third option, I'm just not going to help them then. Well, are any of those awesome options? No. So don't assume those are the only options. There are ways that we can make sure this works. And I did notice some comments where one gentleman had said, he said, I totally agree with giving the enrollership to the person who invited. I think he said it took him about a year or a year and a half before he started building. And once he started building and realized what had happened, because he had okayed it, yes, take those enrollerships, because he didn't care. And is he ever going to do network marketing? No, of course he's never going to do network marketing. But then a year and a half later, he decides to do it. And as he learns, guess what do you think he feels? He's going to feel so betrayed by his upline. Now, what if the upline, let's say I'm the upline, I absolutely feel comfortable going to Sarah, what was her name? Susan. I go to Susan and say, hey, Susan, and I make a business arrangement with her about, hey, I have a business proposition for you. First, I have the conversation. Hey, there are a lot of benefits. You've got these people involved and blah, blah, blah. And of course, I want to see if she's going to be helping. I don't just say, you don't have to do anything, and then these are yours. You might as well sign up as a wellness advocate. That's not what I do. Because I have 10 different business options to offer. So first, I kind of want to find out how interested she is. She said, oh, I would love that. Yeah, I could keep these people under me. Now I want to kind of find out how involved she's going to be. So number one, I do the three pathways. And by the way, I never say I'm doing the 3 pathways. I just launch into it and say, well, there are 3 different, when I'm working with people, there are 3 different pathways. For people who want to share the oils or build the business, there are 3 different pathways that people tend to go down. Let me show you what those are, and you tell me where you fit in those categories. Because when you do that, the rest of it takes 5 minutes. 5 to 7 minutes at the most, and you're done. And by the time I'm done with that, I know how much she's going to be involved. What if she picks pathway number 1, which is I just want to casually share, no, I don't want to help, I don't want to do anything with these people. Do you think I'm going to be figuring out business arrangements with her where I might have at least one of the enrollerships? Yes, but I can't take the enrollership. It's not mine. So you make a business arrangement with her. And the other point that I made in my response on the Facebook group is, what if you want all 10 enrollerships? That's great. But does Susan know the value of those enrollerships? No way. No way. She does not know what that value is. She does not know the hundreds of dollars every month that could mean. Now, you're giving her enough information that she can make an educated decision. So, for example, if I'm making an investment with some business people, they say, well, we'd like you to come in 50-50 with the money. You give 50, we'll give 50% of the investment money, and then we'll share the profits 50-50. And this is the opportunity. Look at it. Look at what you can make. I might say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to take that opportunity. Or I might say, no, I don't want that. I don't want that risk, because you never know what's going to happen. I will put 10% in. That's all. But I only get 10% back out. I get 10% of the revenues. Can I do that? Absolutely. But I need to make sure, they need to make sure I need to make sure I understand what's going on. But in doTERRA, it's a little different. Even though it's business, people don't think of doTERRA as business because they don't think they're going to do business. So you need to give them enough information without overwhelming them that they now know, they get it. They sort of get it and they go, oh, okay. And so I say there are future profits that could come. And I never say that will come. I say that could come. I try to paint a very clear picture. And I give them different options. I say, so you could do this. You could do this. You could do this. You tell me what sounds better to you. But that's after they know all the information. So do you think I ever end a situation where I'm like, no, I just don't take the enrollership because, it's not mine. No, you can totally do business. But I will tell you, I protect that person as if they were me. Because I realize they have a right to choose not to do the business. Now, sometimes the problem is we think, well, if I protect them like they're me, I need to pay them $50,000 because I know that turns into something bigger. Or if that team turns into something huge and they're not getting paid as much, then I should pay them more. No, that's part of the risk. That's risk in business. But I will lay out the options, and whatever they feel comfortable with, I always want to leave making sure that I'm being generous. I am being generous. So if I'm going to ask for one enrollership, which I'm not going to ask for the enrollership, actually, I shouldn't say it that way. I'm going to present a business option where they give me enrollership, I give them something. Do you ever ask for it for free? No. And guess what? Depending on the person, then what you offer might be different. One person might just want oils. One person might want cash. One person might say, well, I want cash, but I'm nervous about it, or whatever you guys decide is fair. I would recommend that you give them an extra little gift, whether it's a little gift basket or something. So I just want you to know, I'm excited about this. And guess what? I make sure they know you can choose this option. One of the options where they don't build and they just want to be in the spot or whatever, or maybe they only want to be a wholesale customer, whatever. I tell them that option, and I tell them the option if they're a wellness advocate and they don't want to build. I tell them the option that, hey, so this is I have a business opportunity for you, and I want to see what you think. And I'm looking for another leg to build, and I need to be the enroller. So it could be Jennifer, who's underneath you. She wants to build. Could be her, but I would need the enrollership. And if you don't, if this doesn't sound good to you, I don't want to do it. If it's not win-win, you've got to feel like it's win-win. But if it is win-win, then she would be my enroller. I would be the enroller of her, sorry. And I would build under her as if she's my front line. Now you get benefit from all of that. So you'll, however big we grow, you're going to get a paycheck. And as it gets bigger, then your paycheck will go up. That's all I tell them. Because yes, you can tell them 100 more stories about how now at some point you might need to hit silver. So then you would need to build 2 like, or do they want to build? No, they didn't want to build. If you start doing that, I used to try to do that because I want to be so honest. I used to do that. It's annoying to them. They're like, I said I didn't want to build. Okay. So I need to present an option that is fair, and they don't know what fair is yet. They don't know what fair is because they don't know the value of what they're giving away. So you make sure it's fair. Okay. So I present that option. I let them know I'll be building under it, and I could totally do that. Or if that's not the case, of course, I'll help your team. I will always help these people, but I will only be able to spend 20% of my time, and I will have to go find a different builder that I put on my front line or something, and that is the one that I have ENROLLERSHIP of. So there are a lot of different options. You tell me what sounds best to you. Well, guess what? You will be able to come up with an option that fits for them. If they start asking questions, if they say, okay, and I know you guys run into this a lot, that's why I'm spending a lot of time on this. If they say, you tell them the options, and then they say, well, what about this? Or what about this? Or could I this? Or could I? That means they don't feel like they have enough information yet to make a decision. So you keep going and help them understand enough that now they can make a decision. Once they feel like they can make a decision and they say, you know what, I think I want to do this. Great, whatever their answer is. If they say, and guess what? Even if the answer is not in my best interest, if their answer is, I do not want to be a wellness advocate, you take those people and put them under you, I don't care. I do not want to do it. I get that I'm taking a risk that I may want to build later, don't want to do it. If that's what they say, then that is an awesome option for me. I get to put them wherever I want. But what if she says, you know what, I do want to be a wellness advocate. I want them under me, and I'll just give you 1 enrollership so that you can build them, but I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, guess what? That's a little harder for me. When it's the way I want it, do I get all excited and say, awesome, this will be great? But then when it's the option and that's not as good for me, then I say, okay, that sounds good. But you know what? If you don't, no, whatever they pick, I'm all, okay, awesome. This is going to be great because it's theirs. So in the camp over here where people are saying, you know, I'm doing all the work, I should be able to take it. Well, guess what? No, you shouldn't. It's not yours. And really, I think we're both saying the same things. Most people in doTERRA are actually saying the same things. But so the people who say, no, just take it and don't give them anything because they're not doing anything, wrong. Let's not be like that. But most people in doTERRA, even though they say, no, you keep the enrollerships, because then if you talk to them more, because I've heard some of my leaders train that way, and I know they feel the way I do about integrity, and they make sure it's win-win. But when you hear them teaching, they sound all sassy, and they're like, no, you're the one who's doing all the work. You get the enrollership. But we need to make sure we do a better job saying, no, you don't take the enrollership. You create a business situation or a business option that you give win-win. Now, if I'm taking if I've created a business arrangement where I get 1 enrollership out of the 10 and they keep 9, what I offer them is going to be less. But if I make a business arrangement where I'm going to be getting 10 enrollerships or 5 or 6 or whatever based on the situation, then guess what? I better be offering them more. Even if they don't know they deserve more. You be giving them. But also, you could do it in a way that makes them go, wait a minute. Like if I say I want 10 of these enrollerships and we've got Oprah Winfrey here. Oprah Winfrey's one of the attendees, and Oprah says, yeah, we're going to start putting it out to all my people, and we're going to be making a ton of money. It doesn't matter if it's Oprah or somebody who nobody knows. Not nobody knows, but you know what I mean? Someone who doesn't have a big name. I get that the risk is better if we've got Oprah. So I'm going to let them know the risk is better. But no matter what I'm doing, I am not going to try to talk them into building. Now, I'm not going to try to under-talk it either. You guys have seen enough of my trainings, hopefully, to know that I'm all about presenting fair information and making sure they know. And even not just fair, I like to make sure I give a little bit of a push in a direction that I think would be best for them. So do that. And if they don't want to do it, that's fine. Don't keep trying to push it and go, are you kidding me? This is Oprah. Do you get that she is going to have, and you're going to make all this money. It's going to be crazy. I am not going to do that. I'm not going to talk anybody into it. Just like I wouldn't do that if I was at a class and somebody didn't want to buy the oils. I would not go, are you kidding? Do you get what these are going to do for you? It's going to change your life. Do you see how going either direction, trying to push someone to do something? I don't care what the situation is. It's not wise. And it doesn't feel good to the person on the receiving end. So hopefully that answers a lot of your questions about enrollership. Now, let me make sure. I'm going to just take a minute to go through. I marked some of these at the beginning. I think I answered that one. Answered that one. Because before I move on to the next topic, I want to make sure I have covered all of these. So here's a question that sort of relates to this because it's about enrollerships. She says, I'm meeting with someone on Saturday who says she may want to build. She doesn't know much about the oils. So I'm doing a one-on-one with her first to see if she likes the oils. Then we can have the business conversation later. I have a key spot on my front line, and her front line, that leg is an elite leg. So she has, I know it's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to do it like this, elite. So this team has some volume underneath. I'm going to use the black marker because I think it'll be better. This team has volume, and she's looking to put somebody in this spot, okay? Because the person who's there isn't building or whatever. She says, I have a key spot on my front line who no longer wants to do the business and has agreed to do an account transfer when I find someone. I'm not sure if this new person is CC material. So here's the new person over here. We'll call her Kim. She wants to put Kim in this spot, but we're not sure yet if Kim is committed and capable. And by the way, if you haven't watched the previous videos, you're going to get lost, okay? So you can go back and watch those. Then let me finish the question. I don't know if it's CC material yet because I haven't met her and have yet to do the 3-pathway conversation with her. But if she wants to enroll, should I enroll her as a wellness advocate and do an account transfer, even if she only wants to be a sharer to start? If she's a sharer, what do I do? And what do I do? Okay, so then I'll finish. I feel like she will at least be doing more than the person who is already there. Is this short-term thinking? If your advice is not to place her on my front line, where would you recommend? Thanks. Okay. The second part of that question, where I would recommend, is going to be after I tell you how to fix problems, because that will make more sense then. But I will answer the first part of your question first. Is that short-term thinking? Yes, 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 it is short-term thinking. Do not do that. Do not put anybody in there unless it is CC. The only reason, well, okay, if anybody says always and never, take it with a grain of salt, even me, because there usually is an exception to the rule, okay? So I would say almost never do this, almost never. What's a situation where you would? What's a situation where you would take a sharer, because this is a no-no. You do not put sharers on your front line. But what's a situation where that might make sense? What if this is the only person on your front line, you don't have any builders on your front line, and you're the one building this, this is the best builder option that you have? Then yes, do you see how that might make sense? It might make sense to transfer that out, because it would be better to transfer Kim into this spot than to put Kim on your front line. And remember my rule, you do not ever, well, we didn't talk about this very much. Don't ever start a second leg unless it is committed and capable. So even if you had to start, let's say here's you had to start because you didn't have a builder, which that means you have not learned my fast track training, because I can tell you almost no one starts without a builder when they follow that training. But let's say, we don't always know, and life isn't perfect. You didn't have a builder, so you put the best option you had right here. I'm going to put best option. Now, everybody else has been going under here somehow. You've been trying to build it the best you can, and one of the things I taught you is that every time, I don't care if the person is down here, if you're deciding, am I going to put somebody underneath this one? I have a new customer, or I have a new sharer. Am I going to put it here? Then number one, You always have a conversation with that person, which will lead me into my next set of questions, because a lot of people asked about that. You will always have a conversation with this person first, and I'll show you how that looks. And then you will place underneath this person as if this was you. You pretend like that is you. Now, the best you can do is the best you can do. If it's you, of course you want a CC on your front line, but do we all start with a CC on our front line? A lot of you didn't, because you didn't know what to do, or didn't have one, or didn't know how to do it, or whatever. So if this was you, and you've got to place somebody somewhere, and you don't have the perfect option, you follow these rules of placements the best that you can. If option number 1, have a CC on your front line, is not available and you have to place them right now, then you go to the next best idea. And then you go to the next best thing. And when I talk about fixes, where I'm going to go through exactly the order, I'll do it in order of best choice to worst choice of what to try to do for your fixes. And that those fixes will apply to this stuff. Okay, the good thing is, if you know all the biggest mistakes not to make and you haven't built your team yet, then if you don't make those mistakes, you will have way less of the fixes to do later. Okay, now I'm going to look at Chelsea. Chelsea, let me know, text me any questions if there are things relevant to what I'm talking about right now. Otherwise, I'm going to go on to the next question now. So yes, that is short-term thinking. Don't do that. If you have a solid builder, like if you have a leg that is, let's say you've got this leg, if this is, oh, I have my trusty little eraser. Look, I have my trusty little eraser. This is what's going to happen. So if this is you, you would not put Kim on your front line. Putting Kim here is better than putting her on your front line, because you don't want to put someone on your front line who's not a CC. But let's see, what was I going to tell you? If you have a leg that is a CC, what's the rule? The rule is, if you have a CC, I don't care how big that team is, then you don't ever add another leg that is not a builder. I'm not kidding you, you guys. Some of you are going, yeah, but, and here I am saying never, right? But only in very rare, crazy circumstances, and we'll go over some of those when we talk about the fixes, why you would choose to do it, even though 99% of the time it's a horrible idea. Because once in a while, there could be a reason you need to do that. So if you have a CC, you keep building here, and some of you are freaking out thinking, yeah, but this person is already diamond and I need another leg. Well, dude, you need to watch my how to recruit, how to sample essential oils, how to talk to people. Because if that's your problem, you're afraid to recruit. You don't know how to recruit, and it is a learned skill. You can learn it. And guess what? In doTERRA, we don't do it pushy. It's fun. I teach you how to do it where you're just basically making a bunch of new friends, and then everybody wants to work with you. So those trainings are available. By the way, okay, some of those few trainings in the newest Fast Track are not out yet. But be watching. Make sure you subscribe to my stuff so that you are notified when those come out. And I will make a big deal about the new Fast Track. So if you have a CC, because if you have a CC and you're saying, well, Teresa said I can't start another leg until I find a CC. Well, then all you need to do is start doing the items to recruit. If you know how to do that, guess what? If somebody told me, Kate, you need to find 3 new builders this week, you want to know what? I could probably do it. Well, I know I could do it. I could totally do it. But if I just need 1 new builder to start a new leg, guess what? I could find new builders. You could drop me anywhere in the world. And I'm not saying this because I'm awesome. It's because, you guys, I've made all the mistakes and I've learned how to do this. So you could drop me anywhere, any country, and I could build doTERRA and find builders. So if your response is, okay, but I have, 90 people that I brought in myself and nobody wants to build. Why do you think I'm so freaking excited about the Fast Track training? That's going to teach you how to handle each of those problems along the way. Okay, so you put the CC, if you follow my training, you will learn how to bring in builders. So imagine if you weren't afraid of bringing, like you knew you could bring in a builder. If I said, you need to find a builder this week or this month or whatever, and you knew you could do it, you wouldn't be worried. You'd be like, okay, for right now, anybody who enrolls, I am not putting them on my front line because that is $1 million real estate. I'm going to put them underneath here because I am not going to suck my time freedom, and I'm going to find a builder. So you find a builder this week, You put those on your front line, and then once you have another builder, you start here. Now, the problem comes when people have been building for a long time and they have a lot of problems. It's super hard to be patient. It's really hard to be patient if you have got, let's say you've got all sharers, you've got a bunch of sharers on your front line, you're going for diamond, and these guys are all sharers, you're doing a lot of the work yourself. Chelsea, let me know if you guys are still, seeing me okay, all right? I just haven't seen any text from you for a little while. I mean, you said that there are no questions, but just to make sure. And, okay, so you've got all sharers, now what? What happens is you find somebody who wants to build a little bit more than any of these guys, and what happens? What happens? You're like, oh, I want to transfer them in, or I got to start a new leg, or I got to, whatever. Okay, you start making decisions out of impatience and out of anxiety rather than making wise business decisions. So follow these guidelines, and I promise, even in I don't care how hot of a mess your team is, it will start to resolve itself. This is what I started doing as we learned, oh no. You guys, the video that I'm taking on my other device is actually out of storage. So I've got half of it there, but it looks like the filming is working, so hopefully we won't need the second half that way. That's a bummer. But so don't make your decisions based on that, okay? Because I think I've told you before, when I started, remember I told you I was not going to build doTERRA. So everything I did, I purposely put people, I didn't care where they went, I just ran them because I was proving that I was not a network marketer. So you can imagine the mess I had later. Luckily, it wasn't so bad, and luckily I learned fast enough. Once I decided to do the business, obviously I changed that. But now I already had existing problems. And I've told you before, I had, and I'm not exaggerating, I had probably over 50 people all in my team everywhere who I was their upline person that was personally training them. You guys, it was crazy. And I hadn't learned yet how to consolidate some of that training. I mean, some of it we did, of course, but I've learned over time. So what happened is, as I started obeying these rules, as I figured out, I quickly figured out, okay, this caused this problem, this caused this problem. We are going to eliminate all these problems. So I started doing it from where I was. And I think I was diamond, because we went diamond fairly fast. I think I was diamond. And then as I started fixing and obeying these placement rules, little by little, all of these different things went away. The problems went away. So now I could go a year when I got sick and I didn't have to do a thing and my check kept going up. Would that happen to your legs right now? All of them. So we got to get them to a point where that is what your life is. And then it becomes not a decision. It's not, oh my goodness, I have to do this, I have to do that. It becomes a choice. I'm not doing double presidential because I have to, I'm not making enough money. It's because I have figured out how to have time freedom. And now I'm going, dang, I could do this again. And you want to know the other excitement is? Now that I know how to do it and not make all these mistakes, I'm excited to see what I can do with my double presidential leg, where, when that team gets big, how much more am I making from that leg? That will be fun to see how I can do it better this time. Now, what is the conversation? Conversation that you have with someone when you're going to put somebody underneath. So let's say you've got this going on. Let's say this one, well, no, we'll leave it as a sharer. So, and then after this, I'm going to get right into the rest of what we're covering today, okay? So let's say in this team, based on where everybody is, we've got all this stuff going on everywhere. This has a team, this has a team, this has a team. I want to put this person, let's say this person is silver. They're silver with these 3 legs. These guys are silver. I should say sharer. SH is sharer, okay? Let's say they've got all these silvers, and of course it doesn't have to be silvers. I'm just using this as an example. This is silver. Oops. Sorry. This person is silver. This person is silver. They've built this up. And so now they're working to go gold. They work really hard. They go gold. Now they're gold. And they are doing awesome. Okay? So what are all of these guys? These guys are all premiers. But they want to go gold. And now they get to a place where they're ready to go. Sorry, no. You know what? Sorry, let me change it. They're platinum now. They're platinum. This person's platinum, my leader. I've got enough leaders on my front line. I come across another CC. I come across a builder, and my leader's going for blue diamond. Or sorry, for diamond. They need another leg. I'm going to confuse you guys if I don't start saying this properly. So they're platinum. They need one more leg to become diamond. If they're already platinum, that means these guys are silver. Yeah, so I was right. This is what I was thinking. But I'm confused myself. Okay, silver. These guys are all silver. And now what happens? They need another one to be able to go diamond. I have a CC. I want to put the CC right here. Because this is me. I'll change this. This is me. Teresa. So this is my front line. I want to put it underneath my front line. Well, this is the conversation I'm going to have with my frontline leader. And I'm not going to ever put someone under them unless they're actually working, if they're actually doing things. Now, the problem, this is what normally happens. People go, wow, my leader is working. Platinum is working and they're awesome. And so I found another builder. They've been talking about going diamond. I'm going to put it under them because I know they'll take care of them. That's what happens. This is what we think. And then we just do it. And then platinum person says to me, you know, then what happens is this person isn't getting taken care of. This person isn't getting taken care of, and I'm getting frustrated. I'm saying, I gave you this builder. It's your job to take care of him. Well, guess what? If I never had a conversation with them, it's not their job to take care of them. It's not. Who put him there? Me. It's my job. So I can't believe how often we had these problems. Because you would think that this person would go, dude, I've got a new builder and we're going to go diamond. But that's not what happens. I don't know what it is. It's a human nature thing. Most of the time, that doesn't happen. Only if you've got a killer, like crazy frontline leader. Okay? Now, what happens is platinum will come to me later. We start having conversations. Platinum starts to feel pressure from me because I start making little comments. I'm like, oh, did you call so-and-so this week? Oh, did you do a strategy session? You see what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, you think they're stupid? They know what you're doing. Then we start thinking that we can make these kinds of comments. Okay, well, you need to take care of that person. Or if you're not going to take care of that person, then we start making these threats. And by the way, people do this with enrollerships. This is what happens. Let me back up for just a second. So, because this is a huge one. Let's say this is you, and you had Sarah, who didn't want to build, Sarah, who's building, she said, I don't really want to build, but she had people enroll from her class. So she just wants to be a sharer. She said she wanted to be a sharer, but she has these people underneath her. Guess what people do? After a while, when this person's trying to hit silver, you're trying to hit silver, and your other two legs are silver, but Sarah isn't. Then guess what people do? They then go to Sarah and think that they have the right to say, Sarah, you really need to take care of these people because these people really they deserve to have support. Where did that come from? And why would we think we have the right to even have that conversation? That's like saying, okay, you have this bike in your front yard and I know it's yours, but you never ride it. So either you need to ride it or you need to give it to me. We would never do that. Do we get that that's what we're doing? Never, ever have a conversation where, one of the questions, one of you guys asked, and good for you for being humble enough to even ask this question. One of you asked something about, is this where I have the conversation with her where, hey, you either need to step up or start, or give enrollership or whatever. I don't remember the exact question. No, don't ever have that conversation. They have the right to do whatever they want. They never should have to do they should never be coerced. You should never make them feel guilty, act like, well, if you're not taking care of them, I really need to hit silver. And so you really should you should step out of that spot. Don't ever do that. You do not deserve that spot. It's not theirs. Come up with a business proposition that is win-win. I have one leader that I would love if I created a massive problem because I built for that person before I knew better. This is why I get passionate about this stuff. They're making a lot of money, and I would like to have them not be in that spot because, and by the way, you can imagine there are a lot of situations like this on my team, but they're getting good pay, but they're not interested in helping with Diamond Club. They're not interested. All the people under there who are building and doing things, they're not interested in helping at all. It's not in their like plans. So they are not helping. They're getting a check that I built. They're not interested. I used to spend time being frustrated about that, but guess what? Whose fault is that? Mine. Did that person that I built under ever promise they were going to do anything? No. Now, if you have this conversation with them, and if you do the 3 pathways, these 2 things change everything, you guys. If you will do the 3 pathways, because the 3 pathways, what it does is it asks people some questions. I think you can still see right here. And it doesn't, in the 3 pathways, you don't say, well, what do you want to do? Be a sharer? Do you want to be a sharer, a customer, or a builder? And then they go, oh, I want to be a builder, and they don't even know what they're committing to. You ask them questions. You show them, this is what a number 1 would do. This is what a pathway number 2 does. This is what it might look like for pathway number 3. It's all very laid back. Then you say, you tell me where you fit in that category. When they pick one, they already have a list of all the things they're committing to. They already know. I don't now have to say, oh, okay, well, then you need to get a book. Then you need to get 150 PV because you're going to be on my front line. Well, now you need to do this. I already showed them the list. I say, this is the things that this person's committing to. These are the things this person. So when they pick it, they already said they want to do it. One of the many beautiful things about the 3 pathways is now, guess what happens when that person stops doing the things they committed to? Do I go and guilt them? No. But no, now do I have a fair, open door to go to them and say, hey, Sarah, let's, be really careful because you don't want to turn it into a DTR. That's a determine the relationship. If you go in and go, if you're dating someone and you go, okay, so I really think we need to talk about our relationship. And you know what I mean? It turns into this big drama. Don't make it a drama. Make it a non-drama. You say, hey, I totally want to talk to you because I do not want you feeling overwhelmed and I do not want you feeling pressured. So help me understand what's happening because, when we first started doTERRA, I know you wanted it. Now notice how I'm looking excited. I'm not looking like I'm lecturing. When we first started doTERRA, you said you wanted to do these things. Who likes that? Nobody. And they're shut off and now they don't want to talk to you. And I'll tell you what, when people come to me and they say, well, I've been working with this leader, she doesn't want to do it anymore, and she won't call me back anymore. She won't respond. I try not to jump to conclusions. I can guess, but we get down to the bottom of it and guess what happens? 99 times out of 100, it is you. It is you. So you have got to learn the skill to do this in the right way. That's why when we get to the fixes, it's amazing how, there are a few of the fixes that I say, do not do this unless you do it with your diamond upline because you will ruin the relationship 99 times out of 10, okay? So do not go to them and say, okay, you said you were going to do this. I'm excited. I'm their friend. Do I care about them? If I care about them more than the relationship, more than I care about my money and my rank, guess what I'm going to say then? Then I would say, oh my goodness. Okay, so I am worried. I don't want you feeling pressured. I don't want this to be an issue. But I know that when we first talked, this is what you were thinking. We talked about the 3 pathways. You wanted to do this, but it's looking like, I don't know if you don't have enough time for that. I don't know if, I know your husband just got a new job or you just moved. Tell me what you're thinking. Now, guess what? We're both talking about an apple. We're not comparing apples to oranges. We both know what we're talking about. Then what happens is they don't go, why are you even asking me to do stuff? They're saying, oh, I know, but you know what? I wanted to be a number 3, but I think right now I better be a number 2. It changes the entire dynamic and it opens up that door. Well, what if you didn't do 3 pathways with them before? Your fault. Your fault. And it's okay that it's because you didn't know. Doesn't matter. It's still your fault. And you still have no right to expect them to do anything. So this leader of mine who hasn't built a business, should I make her feel like, dude, all these people are making you money and you won't help pay for Diamond Club? No. Who put them there? Me. She didn't promise them anything. She didn't promise a single thing. I might think, well, it would be nicer if you helped, but that's none of my business. Of course I can talk to her. And guess what? Do I ever stop letting them know, hey, this is what's happening on the team. These people would love some help, whatever. This is what they would like. And I think this is what it would do for your team. Absolutely. Still doesn't change anything. But guess what? So I would like to find someone to buy out that spot. Well, that spot's making a lot of money. So guess what? It's probably going to cost me a lot of money. But I have to come up with a business proposition that's going to be worth it. If they're making money from that spot, do you think if I offer free oils that's going to cut it? No. I've got to offer something so valuable that they will be happy to take it, and we both feel good about it. I put myself in that position. Take responsibility for those, because I'll tell you what, it's gonna kill you. There are times you're gonna want to go punch your pillow 100 times because you have to face that it was my own fault. Okay, I can't blame it on them. But when you start doing that for real, your team will change. Your team changes and you start exploding more. It's crazy. So this is the conversation. The conversation you're gonna have is, I go to my platinum and I say, before I ever put them underneath, I say, okay, so let's call her Sarah. Sarah, I say, hey, Sarah, I've got this new person. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to do, is it 3 or 4 steps? I think you're going to do 3 steps. Okay. I've never outlined it in steps before, but I'm going to do that for you now because it'll be easier to remember. See, it wipes off just fine, thank heaven, or else I'd be paying a lot more for this room. Oh, shoot. I shouldn't have done that, but I will. I needed some space. Okay. You've got your platinum here. Now, she's got 3 legs. I want to give her the 4th one, but I haven't put it there yet. I'm going to call Sarah and I'm going to say, hey, Sarah, I have this new person and this is the situation. Okay. So number 1, you are going to tell them about the new situation. Oh, that's so funny. My other phone that I was recording with that now won't record because it's full, I said, seriously, to you guys, and Siri came on. She's like, what would you like to know? So, okay, so number 1, you are going to tell Sarah the situation. Tell them about the person, okay? And it's super short conversation, super simple. And I'll tell you exact wording. Tell about the person, okay? Then, so it might sound like this. I say, oh my goodness, Sarah. Now we're gonna say, Sarah, I found this new person. And if you want to take care of them, then I can put them under. No, you be excited, be fun. Are you excited that you found this new person? Yes. In fact, I had one where I was doing an expo and I found this person who was a massage therapist and she wanted to do the business and she was super excited. Now, has the person I met at the expo done anything yet? Not yet, because I just barely enrolled her and I don't want her on my front line because I have enough frontline people. And we're going to test her. We're going to do all those things, but I'm going to go to this platinum because I know this is where I'd like to put the person. So the new person is Kate. Now I should do this because we haven't put Kate there yet. I go to Sarah, say, Sarah, I just met this girl. Her name is Kate. And I think she's going to be awesome. I don't know yet. She says she wants to build a business. She's a massage therapist. This is what happens, blah, blah, blah. And I tell her the situation. Doesn't take very long, just super quick. So, and I'm super clear that she says she wants to do this. We don't know. We got to test her. Notice I say we. When you say we, that helps a lot. We've got to test her. And then number 2, you're going to say, I would like to put them on your front line. Okay? I would like to put them on your front line. Now, am I making any promises? No. What do you think Sarah's feeling at this point? Really? You might give them to me? You might put them on my front line? But I said, I would like to put them on your front line. That's it. I would like to put them on your front line, but I need to put them under someone who is going to do this, 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 this. I always list at least 3 or 4 things, okay? So I would like to put them on your front line. 3, but I need to put them, okay? But I need, and I don't emphasize the word, I kind of emphasize the word need a little bit, but I need to put them under someone, okay? Now, I don't say I would, this one I say I would like to put them under you. Now this one I say I need to put them under someone. Because if I then say I need to put them under, you know, I can only put them under you if, now I'm pressing her back against the wall. If you don't do these things then, okay? So let's see. My Facebook Live is doing something. Hey, Chelsea, would you let me know if Facebook Live is still working? It looks like it is, but I just want to make sure. Okay. So I would like to do whatever, but I need to do this. So let me do the whole thing. I'll show you what it sounds like. Hey, Sarah, I found this new girl. She seems awesome. Her name is Kate. I think she'd be awesome for your front line. I would like to put, she wants to build, she wants to da-da-da, she wants to do all this stuff. I don't know yet if she's going to do that. We need to test her. And I would like to put her on your front line. And notice where my emphasis is. I would like to put her on your front line. But I need to put her somewhere. But I need to put her under someone. That's the wording. But I need to put her under someone who is going to totally train her, do the weekly strategy sessions with her, test her, make sure she really is, you know, what she says she is, and who's going to help train her to do her classes, help her with her launch week and do her classes and totally, you know, take care of her as an upline leader. So, and then, oh, there are 4 things. Then the 4th thing I say is, can you guys still see that? I hope you can see it. The 4th thing I say is that something you would be willing to do? Is that something you would be willing to do? Is that something? Notice, I'm asking for their permission. They get to decide if they are going to do that or not. Do you think I've ever had anyone say no? No, no one has ever said no to me. Now, what if I'm going to a sharer and for some reason I'm putting them underneath a sharer? Why might I put them under a sharer? Well, what if I've got a builder over here who has 3 legs? They're really trying to hit silver. They're really trying to hit silver, so they need 3 elites. These 2 are elite, and they're going really strong. This one isn't, and it makes sense for me to put that in that leg if we're obeying all the other rules of placements. But, so what happens is this person has 1 leg, and they just need to be elite, but this is the only builder they have so far, okay? And, oh no, let's say this. They've already got 3 builders, but they're not elite because they're brand new. Maybe they're so amazing that they got 3 builders. Well, the way the team is structured, we've got some stuff going on, and, you know, I got this new person, Kate. If I need to put it in the volume, like even though this person's going for elite, do we only care about sticking people wherever you want? Doesn't matter where they go because we just need $3,000 volume. No, you always are looking ahead 2 to 3 ranks. You're looking at the next 2 to 3 ranks to make sure you're structuring for that, okay? So if we're looking at that, rather than just stick it somewhere because of trying to hit elite, then it wouldn't matter. We could just put it anywhere under here and it would be fine. But we're not doing that. We're looking a few steps ahead. So if that's the case and we find under certain circumstances that under this person who's a sharer, that would be the best place for them to go because that's where we need the volume, then that might be a sharer. It might even in rare circumstances be a customer who is a wellness advocate who just wants to be a customer. Then I would go to that person, let's say this, and let's change this a little bit. I would never put a builder under that. The builder would go on someone's front line who is building actively, okay? Now Kate is, let's say Kate is just a customer. But I've got you guys asked about this before. I've got so many customers under every single person that we don't want to keep putting customers there. And I've got someone who's just, you know, customer/sharer right here. And it would be best if we could put the person there. That's a situation where I might put Kate under that person. Now, do I have that conversation with this leader? If this is Jim, do I say, hey, Jim, I have someone that is Kate. She's awesome. She just wants to be a customer. She wants to help her kids with the oils. And I'd like to put her under you, but I need to put her under someone who is going to do, you know, help answer her oil questions. Because am I now going to say, well, they've got to do strategy session. They have to do classes with them. Well, that this person doesn't want to do classes. So instead of saying all the harder things, I will say, I'd like to put them underneath you, but I need to put them under someone who is going to help answer their oil questions, make sure they know how to use them for the kids, do the wellness consult with them, and then if they ever do, if they ever want to have a class, of course, you would need to go help them do that. So you see how that sounds totally different because their desire is different. I wouldn't say that to Jim if I'm putting this person under here. Now, this person's a sharer. Does Jim need to help manage that team? Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Jim and say, hey, Jim, I have this person. I would like to put them under, and I have a conversation with Jim. But guess what? Jim knows me well enough already to know that when I go to him, I say, I would like to put them under you, but I'll put them under, I need to put them under somebody who's going to do this work. Of course, I don't say it that way. And Jim knows. So I say, hey, Jim, I've got this new girl, Kate. She's awesome. She just wants to be a customer. Obviously, we don't want them on your front line. I was looking at your team. Now, realize, I might let Jim help me decide where to put them. I might put them where I want them. It depends. It's my person. So don't make Jim think that you're going to let him help you decide if you're not. So if that's the case, if I'm not going to let Jim help me decide because I've already decided this is where they need to go, I say I would like to put them underneath Tom. I'd like to put them underneath Tom over here, but I need to put them under someone who is going to do this, this, and this. And is that something that you think Tom would be willing to do? And is that something you're willing to support Tom in doing this? All of a sudden now Jim is committed. And now we have a three-way call with, oh, I was going to put him under here. Sorry, this is Tom. We have a three-way call with Tom, Jim, and me. And I'm the one who does most of the talking on this call because, well, at first, and then I transition to Jim because it's better if Tom thinks, oh, my up line is wanting to put someone under me. And I just need to know if you're going to take care of them is basically what I'm saying, right? But say it with the wording this way. That's important. So if Tom commits, then I say, and I've talked with Jim. I don't say I've talked with Jim and Jim will support because now we're pressuring Tom into doing it. I said it's okay. Jim already said it's okay. Are you okay? Don't do that. Ask Tom first. And then when Tom says yes, say, okay, awesome. I think this is going to be great. I've already talked with Jim to make sure that he's committed to helping you support this person and blah, 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 whatever. And you always leave that conversation with the next step in place. So the first thing we need to do is set up a wellness consult. So would you make sure you get a wellness? So have the wellness consult set up by the end of the week. Or you see what I'm saying? So you start taking action because guess what? They've committed to doing it and you do need to put them somewhere. So you could put them there now, but you've got 2 weeks to move them. If Tom and Jim don't do what they said they're going to do, you could always move them somewhere else. So be thoughtful of that. I'm not going to get into that part of this question more right now. Now, what if I'm just, this person is a customer sharer, and then I'm not going to say, will you help them build? Will you help them have classes if they want to have classes? I'm going to make it sound way more low key. And again, I would never normally put someone under a customer. I wouldn't put a customer under a customer who's a wellness advocate if this person is just a customer, but there are rare situations where you'll find that it will make sense, not because you're disobeying the placement rules, but because obeying the placement rules, this fits in the best. And you'll see as you go what I mean. Now, the conversation might sound something like this. So, hey, Tom, so it's me talking, the first part of the conversation. Hey, Tom, I know you don't do I know you're not building the business, and don't say you're just a customer. I know you're not building the business, but I have somebody who just enrolled. They totally want to learn how to use the oils, and I've noticed that you are so awesome at the oils. You come to the classes, you always answer the questions really well. You're helping people after the class. So, I tell them her name is Kate, whatever, but I noticed this about you, so I would like to put Kate underneath you, but I need to put her under somebody who is going to answer her questions, whatever. And I might even say, honestly, if I'm not going to put them under Tom just to get Tom to try to build. You don't do it that way. But I will put a little bug in their ear. So I will say, I'll say, I need somebody who's going to help answer their questions. You seem to enjoy that. And then, if she ever decides she wants to have a class, then, I need somebody who would help her do that. So see how that is kind of just a little teaser, just in case that comes up. But I'm not going to put them under Tom. I'm going to reiterate this. I'm not going to put them under Tom to try to get them to start building. Don't ever build that way. That doesn't work. Okay, let me see. Are you getting enrollership of that new builder? Oh, are you giving enrollership of that new builder to Sarah? No, no, no. And we'll talk about that in mistakes. Don't ever give the enrollerships away that should belong to you. I will teach you exactly when to give it away. Okay, what time are we? Oh my gosh. You guys, okay. Okay, I got to get some feedback, you guys. I spent a lot of time on that. I think it's important because enrollership issue, you see how we can change. We could ruin the reputation of doTERRA if we don't do this right. And if we take people's enrollerships that do not belong to us. So I think that was important, but I want to know, would you guys rather I go through the top, there are 11 mistakes, the biggest mistakes that people make, or do you want me to go to specific, what do you call it? Specific questions. And I'll tell you what will happen so that you understand the choice. If we do the biggest mistakes right now, then we will be done with that. And the next few trainings, what I will do is I only have to go over like 2 of the fixes each time. Normally I would go over all of them, but we'll go over 2 fixes each time, or I can go over all the fixes next time. We'll have just a little bit of time to show placements. But if I can do all the mistakes this time and all the fixes next time, now the rest of the time, we just fix problems and we go through how that would work and what it would look like. Would you guys, but I promised you guys I would answer questions at the end of each time, and we've already been going for an hour and a half. So I will go another half hour because I'll go as long as 2 hours each time, but I need to know from you guys. Give me some feedback fast to Chelsea. Let her know if you would rather, should I just do all the mistakes right now and then we're done with that and we can move on? Or do you want to go over some placement questions, specific questions for what we've learned up to now? And I know there's a lag. There's a lag in the video. So when I say something, it takes a little while before you guys actually hear what I just said. So, okay, everyone's saying biggest mistakes. I think that's a good idea because the questions will make more, the answers to the questions will make more sense. Okay, I am committing to you right now that I'm going to make sure we cover all the biggest mistakes before we're done today, okay? Now, just remember, you guys, this is going to leave you depressed. It's going to leave you depressed. Just be prepared. That's normal. And I honestly, I have people leaving this, like when we're done with this part, I have people crying, saying, I have to start all over. I'm diamond and I totally have to start over because my team is such a mess. Please understand, I will show you how to fix things. You do not have to start all over, but you will feel that way. And honestly, if we leave this and you feel that way, that's not necessarily a bad thing because that will help make sure that you don't do it again. And so, you know, feeling bad about a mistake you made is not always a bad thing. If you beat yourself up about it, that's a bad thing. But feeling bad changes behavior. So let it be that when you start feeling depressed about it. Okay, mistakes. The number one, and I won't cover these as long, the first 2, because we already said those. The number 1 biggest mistake that people make is they put product sharers, product users and sharers on their front line. And remember what I said. The biggest reason people do this is because they don't know how to recruit or they're afraid they won't be able to recruit someone. If you really knew that you could recruit a builder, that you could find a builder in a week or 2, you would not do this. You do this because you think that's the best you're going to get. So recruiting is beyond the scope of this training, but my trainings will show you how to do this, especially the fast track stuff. We call it how to sample effectively, but you want to know why we call it that? Because how to recruit is scary for people. And it's the exact same thing. If you want to know how to recruit, the videos I do already have out about this, is the one called, if you look, the way it's labeled right now on my YouTube channel, it's called Fast Track Step 1 is how to enroll 3 customers. And then in the process of that Fast Track Step 1, there are several videos that teach you why they won't enroll, what they're feeling, how to talk to them, how to, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then step number 2 of the current fast track is how to now enroll business builders. And then it says how to approach them, what to say. I give you scripts of what you can say, and then I say, you know, this is how you do that. Even how to teach a class to business builders if you're doing a business presentation. This is not a basic essential oils class, okay? So those are up there. But the most powerful one, which is going to be way better, is how to sample essential oils effectively. That is ultimately, it could be called recruit, 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 and get crazy builders. That would be awesome. If you use that in conjunction with the 3 pathways and the testing, you will find builders. You will find awesome builders. And by the way, well, that's one of the mistakes. I'll wait till I get to that one. So do not put users and shares on your front line. I'll tell you the solution to that, because the problem is people don't have a builder. So what do? If you will do the 6 weeks to elite, which is the fast track space, it's teaching you how to build an elite, because this is what happens. What creates a silver? All you have to have is 3 elites. How many people are stuck trying to hit silver for over a year? Well, if you really knew how to build an elite, and guess what? 6 weeks to elite. If you really knew how to build an elite in 6 weeks, do you think that would be valuable information? Yeah. What is a diamond? A diamond has 4 silvers. These are silvers, not shares. 4 silvers. So how many elites? These guys each have 3 elites. And I'm sorry that you can't, the pen doesn't allow you to see it super well. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 elites. Now, what if it takes you twice as long to build an elite? What if you can't do it in 6 weeks? What if it takes you 6 months to build an elite? What if it takes you 6 months to build an elite? Do you have to build 1 elite at a time? And then when you build this elite, now you can start on another elite? No, you can do, as soon as you find the builders for your top line, 1 at a time, because you're not going to find your first 3 people and slap them up there. Once you have a builder, put it here. Then you start building that. Once you have your second builder, I don't care where this leg is, then you can start that one. Don't start more than 3 at a time. I did have some questions about this. When I'm working with new people, and if they have managed teams of 100 people or more, then I will let them start a 4th leg if they find another 4th awesome builder. Now, the exception, there's always an exception to the rule. This exception to the rule is, what if you have 3 and you find Oprah Winfrey wants to join your team? Do you say, oh, I'm not supposed to put a 4th one on my front line until one of these? So what you do is you wait till one of these legs is independent. When one of these legs is pretty independent, doesn't take much of your time, they know what they're doing and they're going, then you're looking, the next builder you find, you start. Okay, that's kind of how you do it. Now, what if I have 3 and they're not independent, but I've got some huge crazy person who comes in and they're all, oh my goodness, I don't care if it's, what if it's somebody online who has, 500,000 followers? They're not going to build the business, but they're going to let me give them stuff to post on their pages, and everything will go underneath them. Do you think I'm going to go give them to someone else? No, that should go in your front line. But now, committed and capable. Let's say you have the Oprah Winfrey situation. Again, this is an exception to the rule. You don't make exceptions unless there is a super hardcore reason. So Oprah Winfrey could tell me, I'm not interested in building this. I have way too much to do, but I totally am interested in the downline. If you want to do it, I will let you have access to my network. Well, I'll take that any day. But guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to now build the whole thing. I'm going to use her network to find what? 3 builders who are going to take care of those people. Okay? So that's the users and shares. Did I finish the thought I was having here? Oh, so what if it takes you 6 months? What if it takes you 6 months to build an elite and you're doing 1 or 2 or 3 at a time? Let's say it takes you 6 months. What is the average income for a silver? Over $2,100 a month. Do you think that is worth it if it takes you 6 months? What if it takes you a year? What if it takes you 2 years? 2 years to hit silver, which if you follow our training, that will never happen. But what if it took you 2 years? Guess what? Is it worth $2,100? You can't see it. $2,100 a month. Absolutely worth it. Now, what we do, we say 6 weeks to elite, but because a diamond is a bunch of elites. If you know how to build an elite, if you know how to find a builder, and look, I get all close to the phone, I'm like in your face. So if you know how to find a builder and you know how to help them hit elite, then guess what? You can grow as big as you want, because guess what a presidential diamond is? I'm not going to draw it all out, but a presidential diamond has 54 what? 54 elites. Are you building 54 elites? No, you're building 3, and they're building 3, and they're building 3. If you will place the way I teach you, I'll promise you right now, the people who are these high, crazy ranks, you might see some of these people who are amazing ranks, they aren't necessarily better at the business than you. They know how to place better. And I've had people tell me before, I don't believe that. I don't think placements make that much of a difference. I promise you. You guys, I've seen it. I've seen it hundreds, thousands of times, okay? That's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2. Okay, I cannot take that much time. Mistake number 2 is putting family on your front line. Do not do this. Now, I had somebody who was asking, well, what about in this situation? And I had a couple of these in the comments. What about this situation? What about this situation? Does that make that null and void? No, no. I'll tell you what, I have had, we were at a retreat, and because you guys, it hurts relationships, and you will tell me it is not going to hurt your relationship. I can think of a very small percentage of people who have done this, who their relationships are okay. And even the ones who are okay, I can't think of one that they didn't have to resolve some major issues. And luckily they were mature enough to get through it and handle it. And so it ended up working out. But I will tell you what, if you put family on your front line, you're going to damage a relationship more likely than not. And so there's an example in this. I've had several of my leaders tell me the same kind of stories. We were having a retreat in Utah, and we had a couple of people, I won't even say if they were brothers or sisters, because I shouldn't have said Utah, because we have retreats all over the place. But I don't ever want to hurt anyone's feelings. But they were 2 siblings that were one underneath each other. And they were both amazing builders. They had different styles, and they love each other. But at the retreat, we were teaching, do not put family on your front line. And during the class, one of the siblings said, yeah, I get that, and I understand that most of the time, whatever, but, you know, my sibling is on my front line, and we did this and this, so it's actually been really awesome. But I get that most of the time it's not okay. So after the class, the other sibling comes up to me and says, it's not okay. Things are not okay between us. Okay? I'm telling you, you might think it's okay. It's not okay. We had somebody who, the mom wanted to do doTERRA. She had 7 daughters. Guess what she did? She didn't know. All front line. What's that? 6, 7. She put them all on her front line. As they're all building, number one mistake is put family together. You know, that would have been good, but she didn't know. And guess what? She hit diamond. She hit diamond. And they all had to quit doTERRA. It was damaging the relationship so bad. And doTERRA let people transfer out and do stuff, because the one thing doTERRA will do is they'll help you. They don't want to hurt family relationships. You guys, it damaged their family. It could have been something that was beautiful. Let me tell you what's better. Do not put family on your front line. Put them on at least your 3rd level. Because if you even put them on the next level, let's say you put family on your 2nd level. What does this person have to do to hit silver? This person has to be elite. So now all of a sudden you are dependent on this family member, and the feeling changes. Even if you don't say anything, pretty soon this person's going to understand that, oh, I'm holding you back. Then it starts to feel awkward. And at family gatherings, guess what the conversation is? doTERRA. Do you want at family gatherings to be there talking about doTERRA, or do you want to be talking about your child's the babies, or the, you know, what's going on in their life? Don't make it about this. But imagine if they're 3rd level, guess what? Then you don't have an issue. I can't think of one. We have never had an issue that I am aware of where the family was on the 3rd level. So I don't care if they're a builder. I don't care if they're a crazy builder. Guess what? This person's going to need a crazy builder too. I would absolutely tell you not to do it. If you come to me with any scenario right now and say, well, what about this? What about, I would say, no, I would not do it. Because guess what? I'm not afraid that I can't find builders. If you really weren't afraid you couldn't find builders, then you would care more about this. And you would know, I'll find another builder. This girl is going here because I'm not going to take that chance. So that also takes me to another question that several of you had. And it was, and one specifically I remember that said, okay, what about if I put this person here? What if so let's say I put family here, or I put anybody down here. You have that conversation with them, say, hey, I found this person. I want to put them under you, but I need to put them under someone who's going to do this and this. You have that conversation. And somebody asked, yeah, but they have a relationship with me. So they're not interested in working with that person. What if this is my mom? What if that's my mom? What if, and guess what? Do I want to build for my mom and help her? Yeah, if I want to help my mom, I can do it, but why can't I do it from down there? Doesn't matter. Now, does this mean, the funny thing is, it's weird. It's like we think that if I put them down here, I can't talk to them anymore. I am only allowed to talk in my front line. No, you can totally talk to them. I'm going to have the same conversation I have with my mom. If my mom has a question about the essential oils, who's she going to call? She's going to call me. But let me tell you how you do it, because you want time freedom. So you're not just doing this so that you have to do all the work and now they're down lower, right? What's going to happen is I'm going to talk to this person. We have the three-way call with the different builders. I'm putting my mom there. I say, this is what I tell my mom. I say, Mom, I'm not going to tell her, hey, I'm not going to put you on my front line. I'm going to say, hey, Mom, I'm so excited. You know, she enrolls. I'm helping her. Of course I'm helping her. Then I'm going to say, Mom, I have this girl on my team. Her name is Judy. She is awesome with the oils. In fact, she has a child who was born with Down syndrome, and you had, you know, child with Down syndrome. And I thought you guys would really connect. I think you'll really like her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that you're on her team with us, so that you have, you know, you have me. You can always connect with me, but I want you to be able to get to know her, and I want her to, you know, she'll be with us helping you with the oils. And I might, like with some of my people, I'll say a lot of times I'm traveling, and so it's harder to get a hold of me. I want you to be able to get your questions answered. So I'm going to make sure. You see what I'm saying? Now, it's kind of like if you start a class by saying, oops, I wasn't prepared. I forgot that I was supposed to teach. You've already ruined it. You've already ruined it. Everyone's all, oh, you didn't take any time for this. We're not going to learn anything valuable, right? That's what happens if you say, I don't have any room on my front line. Don't say that. Don't say any of that. Say the positive things. I'm super excited that we're going to be doing oils together, Mom. But there's this other girl. I think she's going to be awesome. And you connect them. Now, do you connect them and now you don't talk to Mom anymore? No. And I don't care if it's just somebody I met on the beach. Might be somebody I met on the beach and they made a connection with me. Who do they want to talk to? Me. But you have got to be a leader and start transitioning that relationship, so that at first, Tim, who we met on the beach, we met Tim on the beach and he really liked Roger and they hit it off, and we're great friends and everything's awesome. If I'm going to put them down under someone else, I'm not going to tell them, well, yeah, now you go work with them. What's going to happen is we're going to stay friends. I'm going to stay connected. But little by little, as they can't get a hold of me, or as my leader takes really good care of them and is responding to their questions, they're going to create a relationship. It's not that you force a relationship. If they truly create a relationship with my mom, what do you think is going to happen? My mom is going to think, oh my goodness, I'm going to ask this person. I have a question about this. I'm going to ask this person. And then guess what? My mom starts coming to me later and saying, oh, well, I was wondering about that. Like one time I had somebody on my team who's a good friend. This happened. And they transitioned into being good friends with the person they were under. And normally you'd think they would keep calling me. But if you do this right, they don't. They transition. And what happens is they came to me and were telling me about this health issue, health concern. Sorry, those are not compliant. Health challenge. They were telling a health challenge. And they said, oh my goodness, I was worried about this. I said, oh my goodness. So what did you do? You didn't call me. You must have known what to do. Oh, I talked to so-and-so and she helped me. That will happen. So do it that way. Okay. Okay. So mistake number 3 is, let me get this. Mistake number 3, giving your enrollerships away. Do not give your enrollerships away. If you invited them, you keep the enrollership. Even if, let's say my leader, Jim, is having a class, he invites a bunch of people. I invite someone who is a mutual friend. They're Jim's friend also. They're my friend too. I invited them. I keep the enrollership. Very important. When you're the one who did the work to get them there, to invite them, keep the enrollership. And it's not just about the money, you guys. We're doing 2 things. We are building character. We're building leaders. If we don't build leaders, we're creating an oil club, and we're the ones in charge of it. We have to do all the work. But if you are creating leaders, it changes everything, and you have time freedom. So number 3 is the biggest mistake. 3 is give enrollerships away. Now, what happens if, you know what, I'll tell you when to give the enrollership away. You give it away when your leader is about to, in order for them to hit silver, they need it. And what I don't mean by that is, I do not mean they have 2 legs that they're building. They're not even close to silver. You give them the 3rd leg and they're building, so you give them the enrollership. You do not do that. You wait until, like, let's say if I put this person under here, I am the enroller. Teresa is the enroller. I keep that enrollership until they actually are hitting silver that month. The night that their volume goes up with these 2 legs so that they would hit silver, if they had the enrollership, that's when you give it. I used to say give it at at Premier. I used to say give it at Premier because that's when they could need it. So let's say they have 1 leg, I give them another leg, and in order for them to hit Premier, then guess what? I'd have to give enrollership. But we found that this is what happens. There are way high percentage of time where this person stops building. And so now all of a sudden you don't have the enrollership and you've got a problem. Do not give it at Premier. Give it at Silver. And the exception to that rule, I wouldn't even give it at Silver if, and I have a situation like this on my team. I have somebody, we have this going on. Can you guys see it? Am I too low? Okay. I've got a diamond. No, I've got a blue diamond right here. This is me. I started, this person, I transferred somebody into this spot. They started building and they have grown crazy. They're doing awesome. Guess what? In fact, they just hit diamond. They hit diamond. What do I need my qualifying leg to be? To be presidential? I only need it to be platinum. So I could give enrollership to this person now. That would be huge. That'd be a whole nother huge leg for them. But guess what? I'm not doing it. You want to know why? Whatever rank this person is that is your qualifying leg, you worked hard to get it there. You need to make sure that your business is stable. So what you do is, like this person knows that whatever rank this person is, they have to be either that rank or above for solid for several months. Then I will transfer enrollership. Now, this is because, why do I do that? Because I've seen so many times when it messes it up when you don't. What happens if I transfer enrollership of this person to this person and then they stop building and this atrophies? Now I'm no longer presidential because they didn't do what they said they were going to do. I'm not putting myself in that position. Shame on me if I do. And is this person getting paid on the blue diamonds all this volume? Yes. They're diamond. They're getting paid down 7 levels. They're getting paid more on this person than I am. They're getting plenty of stuff. Don't feel bad to not give the enrollership. I'll share one last situation with you where a lot of times people don't understand. I had a presidential diamond. So this just shows you, until you have grown bigger and bigger and bigger, sometimes you don't even realize things that could be an issue. I have a presidential diamond, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? 6. All of these were platinum. And I don't think I shared this with you guys. These guys are all platinum. Some of them were diamond, some of them were going higher. Well, this leader over here wanted to go diamond. So my presidential diamond said, I found a builder. She's got 3, right? She said, I found a builder. I'm putting it here. But she said, Teresa, I'm going to give her the enrollership because I'm beyond the point of needing the enrollership. I don't care about it. I said, no, don't do that. And I showed her this scenario and she didn't give enrollership. I said, let me show you what could happen. If this person has 3 silvers, right? You give them this. What if something happens in her life, her kid gets sick or her husband dies or something happens and she can't do doTERRA anymore? So this team falls below platinum. Now you're no longer presidential. When you're the one who did the work, you found this person. Now, do we want to help this person? Yes. Are they're already getting some money from what they're doing. If you want to help this person financially, you don't give them enrollership. What you do is you give them a check. Say, hey, I want to help you. You're having a hard time. But this is what you do. I said, what you're doing is, I said, if you give enrollership, let's say something happens, they stop building, and that cannot be your qualifying leg anymore. Well, let's take it even a step further, because some people will say, that's okay, because I just want to help. Well, let me show you. You're actually hurting them, and I'll show you why. Because are you going to spend as much time on this leg if you have to now build a different leg? No. You're going to need to build a different leg. You're going to have to do something. This person didn't want to give up their spot. You're not doing a transfer. So this is what happens. I said, this is what you're going to do. You will create a situation where this person, you don't have enrollership. The enrollership belongs to her. Now, this person stops building. What happens if this person explodes and they get huge and this person still isn't building? And in order for you to really help this person, if this person, I'll say Connie. It's not really Connie. If Connie says, you know what, I can't worry about this right now. I have to focus on my life, or I have to, whatever. They're not going to build. Then this person could be your qualifying leg, but now they can't because you gave enrollership away. Now, what happens if, so let's say this is Sarah. I told you I always use Sarah. Let's say I go to Connie, now I create a business proposition. Remember, that's what we learned. You create a proposition. Hey, I have a business, I have a business proposition for you. You say, hey, this is the deal. I can keep building Sarah. It will help keep growing your team. You're already platinum, whatever. It'll help you maintain your 7 levels so you keep getting paid a lot. That way I can just build more volume under you. But I would need that enrollership. She has to give permission to give it back to you, even though it was yours. So let's say if you're lucky, Connie is really nice, and she says, okay, I'll give enrollership of Sarah back to you because you should have it. You're the one who brought her in. I'm not doing it right now. Let's say, perfect scenario, that happens. Now guess what happened? You've already used up your 1 enrollership change, and now you can't change it back. Now I know some of you are freaking out because there's actually another exception, which I'll say, but now you've created a situation where you cannot, if Connie ever starts building again, because now she recovers from the death of her husband, she's ready to go again, she's able to focus again, her son, she's dealt with her son's health issues or whatever, she's ready to focus. Now you can't give it back to her. Okay, this is what they used to have. But because of situations like this, doTERRA actually created something in the comp plan where they say now, it's an exception. This, you don't automatically get this. This you automatically get. You can automatically do the transfer. So if you never transferred it in the first place, you never have this problem. When she's ready to go diamond, she was already above diamond, so you don't give it to her just because she already has silver. If she's wanting it for diamond, you wait till she's going to hit diamond. She did the work, took care of the people, then you transfer it. Now, doTERRA has allowed for 1 extra transfer, but you don't get it automatically. The extra transfer is this. Let's say something like that happens, you transfer it once, and now your transfers are gone. Well, doTERRA says we'll allow for 1 more exception. If there's an extenuating circumstance and something happens, we will let you transfer the enrollership back 1 more time. That's it, 1 more time, but it has to go back to the exact same person who had it before. So that's all great, but guess what? Now, if you give the enrollership away, you've now used up 1 of your transfers either way. So stay away from that. And guess what? Psychologically, it's healthier for Connie to have to earn it. That's the other piece. And that's a powerful piece that sometimes we don't pay attention to. It absolutely matters for her to earn that. When you have somebody who's going to go silver and you gave them a builder, if they have to earn silver before you give it to them, they're so proud of it. They don't take it for granted. They treat it, it helps their character grow in the right direction. So it's powerful. Okay. Now, let's see. Mistake number 4, and this one will be fast and quick, is the next biggest mistake people make is they transfer the enrollership too soon. Don't transfer it too soon. And I've already explained that to you. Okay. If they transfer enrollerships too soon, that's number 4. If you give the enrollership before they earned it, and we already talked about that. I should have written that up before. Okay, that's number 4. Number 5 is, the next biggest mistake people make is location. Location. 5. What I mean by that is, if you have a team in California, let's say this is you. This is a pretty quick one. You have a team in California. You have one in Russia. And you have one in Texas. Okay? Your California team is rocking it. They're huge. The Russia team is pretty small. It's just, you know, you really need some, this one is small. And this one has about, I'll wait to tell you how much that one has. But, so these 2 teams are okay. This one's small. And this one is maybe, this was about 2,500. So you're trying to get to silver. This one, you need volume on both of these. Let's say that you find somebody in California who wants to build, and you do not want to put them on the California leg because it's huge. That's not where you need volume. So you put the person underneath your Texas leg. You think, well, Russia's so far away, I'll put it under my Texas leg. Well, guess what happens? Number 1, already you've got the issue that you signed this person up. Who do they want to talk to? You already. Now they're in California, and you're putting them with people who are in Texas. So now, who are they wanting to talk to? You. Even if you do a great job transitioning them, they don't have as powerful of a support group here. Now, does that mean you have to be under someone from the location you're in? I'll tell you one thing I do get fed up with. It's people who, they get involved in doTERRA, they sign up, and they say, oh, you know what? I can't. I have to be with someone who's in my own city. That's absolutely a bunch of baloney. Hello, I have teams all over the world. And as soon as the thing is, you might think that. And you might think, well, I got to get with a team that's in my city. No, doTERRA, what you do is you contact the different leaders in the city and you all work together. You have classes where everybody can invite people. It's awesome. And it creates a way more powerful group than if you say, oh, I have to transfer. Because guess what I have to transfer means? If you have somebody who comes, if I have somebody on my team who comes to me and says, you know what, I really need to move somewhere else because I don't have a supportive upline. What does that tell you about that person already? What do I already know? I already know that they're blaming their problems on someone else, that they are going to find an excuse why it's not their problem. This is their business. And this is me being super blunt, you guys. The reality is, I will try to, if somebody comes to me on my team and they say, or off my team, they say, I don't have any support and my upline's not helping me, of course I'm going to be compassionate. But part of what I'm training them as I help them, I'm going to be also training them to start realizing they need to quit blaming. This is their business. And if you've got somebody who's trying, like if you have somebody who's trying to switch to your team because their leaders aren't helping, I'll tell you what, you already know that you're getting somebody who likes to make excuses and blame their upline. So just realize what you're getting into, because it's true. It's totally true. Okay. So location matters. It's not the only thing that matters, because of course, maybe they're in a part of California that's not even close to this group, and you need volume in Texas. They're already going to be a little bit long distance. Then of course you can put them here. Okay. Next mistake is relationships. I'll leave those up. Oh, I should always erase the number. Relationships. Okay. If you are placing, relationships matter. And by the way, any placement rule always is superseded by relationships are always more important than the business. Always. That does not mean that if your sister is trying to coerce you to put people under them and making you feel guilty, that you should because the relationship matters and she'll be mad at you. That is not what I'm talking about. That's not healthy. But relationships. So let's say that here we are. Let's say this team is 5,000 and you're doing awesome and you're going for a higher rank. Russia is small, but you're from Russia. Sorry, no, you're from Texas. All of your family is in Texas. And of course, they're down a couple of levels, right? Your family's all in Texas, and you have another brother who now just signs up, and you're going, dang, I don't need volume in here. I don't need volume here. I'm going to put them with the Russia team. you get, you guys, you already get what's happening. And of course, Russia, that's far away from, unless you live in Russia, that's far away from you. But for those of you who are in Russia, obviously, that's going to be different. But if you put them somewhere in a team where you have a better choice, if you don't have a better choice, if you have no family signed up and you live in China, hello, I live in China. If I live in China, I have no family signed up and I need people in my Russia leg, well, it might not matter what leg I put my brother in, because I'm going to be working with him long distance anyway, and that will be fine. And there's nobody else near him in my teams that that he can go under. If that's your scenario, then you do the next best thing, right? If you can't do the rule, follow the second best option, okay? So relationship. If people are friends, if they're close friends. So for example, the example I gave you where Jim had a class and I invited someone to the class who we both know. It doesn't matter if Jim is rocking it. Jim might be killing it and his team is going to be awesome and I've got somebody else I need to help. If that person is a good friend of Jim, guess where they're going? Under Jim's team. You put them under Jim's team, okay? Let me make sure I don't need that anymore. Mistake number 7 is you build for someone else. You guys, this is killer. This will kill your time freedom and you will put a lid on how high you can rank. Because you cannot, I could not be a presidential diamond doing it all myself. My leaders had to become independent for that to happen. So, what is it called? Whoops. Oh, building for someone else. Do not build for someone else. Now, next time at the beginning, I'm going to talk about placeholders. In fact, I'm going to make a note right now. I kind of mentioned this a little bit. But guess what a placeholder is? A placeholder is you actually deciding, I am going to build for someone else. So I'm not saying there isn't a situation where you might use a placeholder, but they should be rare. And a placeholder, by the way, should be a 2 weeks place. It's less than a month. In less than a month, you have traded that out. And if you know how to find builders, does that scare you? If you really knew how to find builders, that wouldn't scare you. You'd be like, okay, I'm going to find a builder within a month. And by the way, it's hard to do it legally. Make sure you do it legally for the placeholder. But if you build for someone else, what that means, sometimes we call it the black hole. Sometimes we call it, plugging holes. We call it all kinds of things. If you are constantly putting your enrollerships on this team so that you can hit rank, so that that person will rank, do not do this. Of all the situations, this may be the best time for you to start a new leg. Or, well, that's not true. Or transfer in, or do a swap, or all the things we're going to talk about. There are different options, okay? Do not build for someone else. That means if someone is actively building, you help them. If I'm helping someone build and they're building and I'm helping place people under them and then they stop building, do I keep placing people under them because I think, wow, there's already all this volume? No, don't do that. We'll talk about volume more next time because people think, oh, it's already 3,000 points of volume. Okay, my office team, you guys are getting a bonus because I'm keeping you up late. They're staying after hours for you guys. So mistake number 8, you guys, we're getting close to the end. Mistake number 8 is, I'll make sure I go in order. Oh, you put the enrollee under someone on your team without talking to them first. You don't have that conversation. You just put them under. That conversation I told you about where you say, hey, I found this person and I think they're going to be awesome and I'd like to put them under you, but I need to put them under someone who does this, whatever. That is a huge mistake people make, is that they put people under someone on their team without talking to them first, without having that conversation. If you do that and later they don't do what you wish they would do, you have no right to be mad. You have no right to ask them to transfer out. Now, does that mean you don't ask them to transfer out? No, you have no right to expect them to. You have a right to come up with a business proposition that is win-win, that makes them go, oh, dang, I will do that. Okay, that's number 8. Number 9 is placeholders, ghost positions. Okay, we call them placeholders, we call them ghosts. Again, it's kind of what I referred to a minute ago. I'll tell you what that is. What a placeholder or a ghost is, means that if this is Teresa and I'm starting my business, or let's say I have 3 builders. I have 3 builders. I've realized I made a lot of mistakes. I don't want to make the same mistakes. And I'm struggling with some of the things that are going on with this team. I am not going to put someone who's not a CC on my front line. But I have some people enrolling. These teams are all big enough, so I want to start another leg, but I don't have a builder. What happens is people will put a placeholder. I'll put PH, a placeholder. They sign up their grandma. They sign up somebody, which, by the way, family, that's an issue. But let's say you use grandma. Grandma signs up right here with the understanding that somebody else will transfer in when I'm ready. Well, if I do that, who's building? Is grandma building now? No, I'm building, so guess what I'm doing? I'm now disobeying one of the major rules of mistakes you do not want to make. So you are building this. Now, if you know how to find builders, the one time it would be a good scenario is if you absolutely need to do this, you have made sure you know how to find a builder, because this is, if you put this here and you wait a year to find somebody, that is you being lazy, because there is training out there that will teach you how to do it. You can find a builder. So that's just an excuse, and then you're building in someone else's team. So now you're creating several other mistakes for yourself. So if you do use this option, realize it's because I have trained myself. I've found the training out. I know how to recruit people. I am going to be following that training without fail. I'm putting a placeholder here because I have people I do need to enroll. But the commitment to yourself is within 2 to 4 weeks, you have got the person transferred in. Don't just transfer anybody in. It better be a CC, okay? But you be very careful with this because, I mean, there are exceptions to every rule, okay? Mistake number 10 is making hasty promises about where you are going to put people. I'm almost done, you guys. Hasty promises. What that means is if I go to my leader, here I am, and I say, I've got these leaders, this leg is huge, this leg is huge, this leg is just really struggling, and I need help on this leg. So I go to this person and say, oh my goodness, I just did this expo. I have this new person, Kate. She's awesome. She is great. Da, da, da. I want to put her on your team, and she'll be awesome for you. So I promise to put Kate on this person's team before maybe Kate hasn't even enrolled. Maybe I met somebody and they said, okay, well, I've actually had this happen to me several times and to leaders on my team. In fact, one was an expo. This girl was a massage therapist at an expo. She totally wanted to build. And then we kept not connecting. She was busy. She was doing stuff. It just never worked. So she didn't even enroll for several months. And when she did, guess what? Now this leg was my biggest leg of all. And I was already starting on another leg. Where do you think I wish I could put that person? Right here. But I made a promise. If you make a promise, you keep it. I had one leader who, in her city, it's not in Dallas, but I'll just say Dallas so nobody will know who I'm talking about. She started. She had a leader in Dallas. Okay, her leader's in Dallas, and she was from Dallas. They lived near each other. And she said, hey, this person really wanted to build. She said, okay, come build with me. And this person really was building. And this person told her, every person who enrolls in Dallas, I'll put underneath you. All Dallas will be your team. Wow! Those of you who've been in very long, you already know. It got crazy big. And it got to a place where this person wanted to be able to put those people somewhere else. Should she be able to put them somewhere else if she's bringing them in? Yes. But I told her, I said, you need to keep your promise. Now, I was doing this to teach a lesson, so she didn't have to keep the promise forever. But she just wanted to take back on her promise. I'm not, no, you don't do that. You are a leader. So she kept giving them for another couple months. And then I went in and I had planned this, but if I told her this at the beginning, it wouldn't have taught the lesson. So then I went in a couple months later and I said, we had a meeting. And I said, this is the deal. I'll call her Dallas 2. This is Dallas 1 and Dallas 2. I said Dallas 2 because I'm afraid I'll say the correct names. Dallas 2, I said, we need to have a meeting about this. I said, this is the deal. This is what happened, and Dallas 1 made this promise, but I am not going to let her do that anymore. Now, who is she going to be mad at? Me. She can't be mad at her because she didn't know. She didn't know not to say that. We had talked about it, but people don't remember everything. I said, I'm not going to let her do that anymore. She said, but she promised, and she knows my thing about integrity. She kind of used it against me. She's like, you promised. And you said, if you make a promise, you have to keep it. And I said, you are totally right. You are totally right. And I said, this should have actually stopped a long time ago, but I didn't have her stop yet because she made a promise and she needed to keep her promise. But just because you make one mistake in your business does not mean that now you have to suffer for the rest of your life. She has put so many people under you. She has helped you so much. And for your sake, for your character also, that is not something you should be expecting her to do, because you understand, you see now what happens. I said I would do the same thing for you. If this was happening with your leader, we would be meeting with your leader. And I'd be saying, Kate, it's time. It's time. She kept her promise. She intends to keep it. I'm not going to let her do that anymore. It's not right. So you see how as the upline, sometimes you can step in and help, okay? So do not make promises. Wait until the moment happens. And then when you're actually putting them in, then talk to the person and have that, have that situation. Number 11, they don't do their due diligence. This is the last one, and it's about testing. They don't test people. And I'll just tell you really quickly how you can test people. It's super simple, and you can come up with your own tests. This is how you test people. If someone says they want to share, if they say they want to build, you don't place them in a position because they said they were going to do that. You place them in the position because they actually are doing it. And I always tell people, how many days does it take to find out if that person really is going to do what they say they're going to do? One day it takes you. If it takes you more than a day to figure that out, you are not testing properly, because there should be a test. And testing doesn't mean, hey, I'm going to give you a test and you have to pass, or you don't get to be on my front line, okay? A test means that you give them assignments. You're all excited. It's girlfriend stuff, or you guys, guy, dude, cool stuff. You're like, oh my goodness, this is going to be cool. We are totally going to build this together. And so you make a plan. So guess what happens? We say, okay, the first thing we want to do is we want to schedule your wellness consult, and we want to schedule our first strategy session. So for this week, now normally, am I on the phone with my leaders every week? No, every day? No. We used to think that was the best way. Now we understand with your leader, you should have a strategy session once a week. If they need a text or whatever in between, that's fine. But you don't need to have a meeting every day. So I'm going to say, okay, so our strategy session is a week from now. And okay, so for tomorrow, let's make a plan. What's going to happen? And in the strategy session, by the way, which I haven't created that video yet, but I do have the strategy session worksheets up on my teresaharding.com. It walks you exactly through what to do. You go over their rank and what needs to happen for that, and they pick their 3 goals for the week. And their 3 goals each have 3 action items. So for example, I'll give you an example of one goal. If I say, okay, what's your first goal or priority for this week? And this is in our strategy session. They say, well, I really need to get, I have a couple people who've been saying they want to do classes. I need to get those classes on the calendar. I say, okay, so what are the 3 action items? So for every goal, you have 3 action items. What are the 3 action items that that need to happen to make sure that that is done by the end of this week? And they get in the habit, they know, and it's all in the paper. They just fill it out. It feels simple. And they say, well, first I need to make a list of the people. And even if they think there are not 3 action items, they might say, I just need to call them. No, make them come up with 3 action items, and don't make them feel dumb about it. So the action items might be, I need to make sure I make a list of who it was. Number 2, I need to make sure I have their contact information. Number 3, I need to call them and get it on the calendar. Super easy. When you do this strategy session the way I teach you, you're so much more out of your leaders than even they thought they would ever do. It's amazing. So the test might be, let's see, they have 3 goals, right? Say they have 3 goals. The test might be, okay, so we have our strategy session a week. Tell me what you want to have done by tomorrow, or you know exactly what they're doing. Say, okay, so this is what I want you to do. Do this and this, and then text me tomorrow. Text me tomorrow and let me know, that happened, Or it might be, if you're looking for a new person on your front line, you might say, okay, this is exciting. They totally want to build. So, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to set up a call where we're going to do a 3-way call with your 3 best people. And I'll tell you, this is the test you need to do if they're going to be frontline, one of the tests. Because you got to see, if they can't even bring 3 people to a phone call, is that a frontline person? No. But if they can bring 3 frontline, and you can see what kind of caliber of people they're bringing as far as building goes. So you totally say, okay, so we're going to set up conference calls with your 3 best people that you want to work with, or that you think are going to be whatever, And so then we have a conference call. And so get that set up, like tomorrow call me and let's figure out who you're gonna have on these calls, and let's schedule some times. Look what I just did. I didn't say I will call you. I said you call me. I didn't say you call me. I say call me tomorrow and whatever. So every day they have an assignment, and some of them, if it's a frontline person, those assignments should be a little bit big. Okay, like bring me your top 3 people that you think are going to be your 3 builders. But you know, we're starting from where we are. If I've got a serious builder who's capable, committed, and brings me one, and they've got a builder, great. Or they do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it, and they talk to people and they bring people in without me having to train them. That shows me that they're ready for the front line. A lot of the questions I saw on the Facebook group, and don't be afraid to ask the questions. Hopefully I'll never make you feel stupid. But a lot of the questions I saw about, yeah, but what if they said they were going to do this and they didn't do this? I will tell you almost every time, if we're talking private mentoring, I would say, tell me what you did to test this person. And even if you think you tested them, you think back to what you really did to test. 99% of the time, you did not test them. You did not really test them. You're afraid you can't find another builder, so you let them slide. They did a couple of things, and you said, yeah, that's awesome. They're going to be great. Okay? So test, test, test. One of the biggest mistakes is that we do not test people. So we've been talking a lot about the 3 pathways, and I'll end with this. Yes, do the 3 pathways, but a couple of the questions I got were about, in fact, one really good question said, I've done the 3 pathways and people say they want to be a sharer, but then they end up not really building. So what do you really do with those people? And the answer, this is your answer. Test. You did not test them well enough. Now, if you tested somebody awesome and you really tested them well, could they still decide to stop building? Of course they can. No, the world is not perfect. Your team will never be perfect, but your chances of having these mistakes happen less, or the problems on your team that you have to fix less often, they go way, way down. So if they say they want to be a sharer, test them to be a sharer. You're not going to test them to bring 3 business builders. They're not a builder. They're a sharer. I mean, they're kind of a builder. They just don't know it yet. So what would you ask a sharer to do? What are some of the things? And in fact, what I'm going to invite you guys to do is get on that Facebook group, and I want you guys to start listing some things that you do to test people. But make sure you don't call it a test. Make sure you don't act like high and mighty. Well, you get to be on my front line if you do this. I mean, of course, I make them, when I'm talking to somebody, I'm good at helping them feel like, dang, I got to be on a front line. What can I do? What can I do? And I'm like, okay, well, I got to see that you're serious. And so we list some things, and then they walk away feeling like, if I want to be on her front line, I have to do this and this, but not because I said it that way. I'm careful about the way I treat people. I want them to be excited to be on my front line, but if you want to be on my front line, you got to show me that you mean it. So test people. You guys rock. Okay, it's getting longer and longer every time. I promise next week I'm not going to go this long. And next week we'll be able to cover the fixes, and we will spend the last half hour on what you can do with existing problems. Okay, and then from there we'll be able to go to more advanced stuff. So you guys are awesome. Thanks for being on. Thanks for being on so late, you crazy people who are out in the East Coast and Germany and other parts of the world. So thanks so much, and I will see you next week. Bye, you guys. Hey, you guys. Teresa Harding here again. You guys are going to think I'm crazy. I want to help you if you guys have questions. So this is the deal. I ended the other session because I wanted to make sure that you guys could leave. You've had enough of me already. So this will be just an additional little thing. There were some questions that came up during, show you some answers to, okay? So I'm going to go over a few questions that people asked. There are just a few, but at least then we can answer. Some of those I answered during the course of the training, but let's see. So let me, she says, how do you talk to the friend that never said she wanted to do the business and upgraded so I could place under her? I naively assumed she would do the business once she had people under her. For that one, when we talk about the fixes, these are the kinds of problems that people have because they didn't know to do these things, and that's okay. That's why we cover mistakes first, so that now you'll know. blah, whatever. Then we have that conversation that I talked about in the video. If you didn't see that, you can go watch that. So what happens is I commit them to doing those things. They say, are you willing to do that? They say, yes, I am. Now I put that person under them. By the time I'm going to give my platinum the enrollership, it's because my platinum is ready to hit diamond. Well, if they're ready to hit diamond, they've already shown me that they've been taking care of that fourth leg that I gave them, okay? So they already showed me, they were tested, and I didn't really have to test them if they were already doing work for their other 3 legs. I see that they already take care of their leaders. I'm just gonna make sure she's gonna take care of this leader. So to clarify, it happens every time. The person starts to have attitude like, well, I deserve it. It's mine. That's my person. But, which we don't want them to think we're all amazing. It's not why we're doing this, but psychologically it's healthier. If I don't give them enrollership and I give them the fast start bonus at the end of the month, guess what they realize? That wasn't mine. It was a gift. And wow, my leader is awesome because she helped me give me that person. She also wants to give me the fast starts. Thank you so much. Should they be grateful? Yes. If you do it the other way, it's crazy. It takes away that gratitude. And it's their own fault for not being grateful, but there are things we can do to train properly. So that's that. Somebody asked, why is 3rd level magic for family? Because, and I answer this, but and it takes away that stress from the family relationship. It's powerful, okay? And I think the last one, not a question, but an issue. I've been putting people under others that aren't building, but I had to put them somewhere, but I take care of them. And so you already know, it sucks your freedom, sucks your time. You will only be able to get so big with that. People who, and of course, this also will refer to the fixes. The fixes are gonna be something that I'll show you how you can take care of that. And remember what I said. Remember how I said that I seriously had 50 people who were personally accountable to me because there was nobody else building and I was putting people under customers and doing it all wrong. And as even if you didn't know how to fix what you already have, if you just started obeying the rules of placement, stop making those mistakes, don't do them no matter what. And little by little, your garden will become better. Your garden will become healthy. But if you can get rid of the bugs or solve some of the bug problem and do all the healthy stuff your garden needs, it will go faster. But just realize, even if you only took care of the mistake, like stop making those mistakes and just do it right from now on, you'll start to resolve the problems. So let me see if I can see. So just take heart, give it a week until we talk next week about some of the fixes. And remember, 2 things I want to tell you. I have 2 surprises for you. Number 1, a way to create a plan to solve those, what you're going to do for your team. We'll have that. And Roger is brilliant. I forgot to tell you guys. I was going to tell thinking, I said, that would be awesome, but that would take so much time. We could think about that and kind of start keeping track of what you would do with these people, because if people had it written out and step by step exactly what to do, if they're a builder who is a wellness advocate, if they are a customer who's a wellness advocate, if they're a customer who is a wholesale customer, everything. And so the next thing I know, hours later, he comes back and he has this flow chart. Oh my goodness. I was looking at it and it is dang good.